tricked into living together by a stunning senior sister. The Divine Doctor Ye Chen, descending the mountain for experience, encounters a stunning runaway heiress. After an unexpected night of passion, he breaks free from his limitations and begins his journey of invincibility. Chapter 1: Kicked down the mountain by a gorgeous senior sister. In a hotel room, a man and a woman were frantically pulling at the blanket, each trying to cover their own modesty. Su Rushua huffed angrily, "You slept with me, and you still think you're in the right." This guy's skin was as thick as a fortress wall. He was the one who had taken advantage, yet he looked as if he was the victim. Ye Chen looked at the woman in front of him. He had to admit that her beauty and figure were on par with those of his other senior sisters. Ye Chen was puzzled. Why would such a beautiful woman act so shamelessly? She insisted on dragging him to drink, got herself blackout drunk, and ended up sharing a bed with him. Did she have other motives? Ye Chen asked, "Just tell me, why are you doing this?" "Why?" Su Rushua's eyes flashed with a complex expression. Tomorrow, she was to be engaged to Zhao Chao, the biggest playboy in Cloud City. Zhao Chao, taking advantage of his wealthy family, had toyed with countless women, leaving none with a happy ending. She was destined to be just another toy in his hands. But with her family pressuring her and the Zhao family's threats, she had no escape. So, she came to their hotel, got herself drunk, and ended up spending the night with this man. She'd rather lose her innocence to him than to that jerk Zhao Chao. But she couldn't tell him any of this. With a cold face, Su Rushua sneered, "Stop acting like the innocent party, all right? Sure, I came to you, but what's that saying? The cat playing with the mouse, who knows who's really at a disadvantage here? You had my body, and now you're trying to deny it." Ye Chen was frustrated, "But I didn't do anything." He was going mad. His master was a notorious flirt, fathering children like chickens laying eggs, yet strictly prohibited Ye Chen from sleeping with any women, threatening to kick him out of the sacred healing sect if he did. It was the old man he'd miss if he got kicked out. It was his beautiful senior sisters. If it weren't for his master's strict orders not to sleep with women, Ye Chen might have given in last night. "What do you mean you didn't do anything? Then what's this?" Su Rushua suddenly lifted the blanket, pointing to a red stain on the sheets. "What's this? You're just going to deny it?" "No, you didn't even get dressed before denying it." Ye Chen was exasperated, "But that's your period." At that moment, Ye Chen's temper flared. He wanted to press her down on the bed and take her first time for real. Was she taunting him, knowing he couldn't? The pure yarn constitution was truly troublesome. And his master had forbidden him from being with women. Su Rushua's face twitched, and she calculated in her head. Indeed, it was her period. It was the first of the month, her usual time. And come to think of it, she hadn't felt any pain, though she'd heard that a woman's first time could be painful. "You really didn't do anything?" Su Rushua asked, her opinion of him improving. After all, she was the #1 beauty of Cloud City. Men chased after her by the dozens, yet this man had resisted. Su Rushua even wondered if her charm had waned a bit. Feeling slightly disappointed, she remembered the Zhao family's overwhelming influence in Cloud City and their shameless behavior. With a stern face, she warned, "I'll say it again, don't come looking for me." With that, she turned and ran out the door, not wanting to drag him into her troubles. Ye Chen shrugged, "When will I finally be free of this restriction?" Just then, his phone chimed. Ye Chen stood up excitedly, "My senior sister's calling." "Senior sister, I'm back." Ye Chen dashed over to the door of a thatched hut, calling out, "You little brat. Hurry up and strip. Lie on the ice bed, I'm giving you a body tempering session." A stunning beauty rolled up her sleeves, looking at him with a fierce, yet endearing gaze. This was Ye Chen's eldest senior sister, Zhao Mingyu. At only 25, she was just 3 years older than him. "Yes, Maram." Ye Chen took off his clothes and obediently lay down on the ice bed. With the ice, Zhao Mingyu began rubbing his body, helping him temper it. Her gentle hands chased away the heat from his body, making him feel incredibly refreshed. Ye Chen grinned, "Senior sister, put a bit more effort into it." "You little rascal, trying to wear me out." Zhao Mingyu wiped the fine sweat from her forehead. "Your meridians still aren't open. I'm exhausted." She plopped down on the floor. Ye Chen's pure yarn constitution made his cultivation soar like a rocket. However, this physique would eventually cause him to self-destruct if left unchecked. That's why his senior sisters took turns using ice to temper his body. 2 hours later, Zhao Mingyu patted him on the back. All right, get up. Ye Chen grinned. Senior sister, there's still one part that didn't get tempered. He pointed to his golden spear. Zhao Mingyu rolled her eyes. To temper that, you'll need a woman with a pure yin constitution. That's why master has forbidden you from sleeping with any other women. A pure yin constitution. As Ye Chen put on his clothes, he asked, Senior sister, where can I find someone with a pure yin constitution? Zhao Mingyu took out a ring and a marriage contract, handing them to Ye Chen. This is Master's order. Put it on. The woman on this marriage contract has a pure yin constitution. Ye Chen recognized it as the ring of the sacred healing sect's master. Disobeying a direct order wasn't an option. He slipped the ring onto his finger. Pointing at the marriage contract, Zhao Mingyu said, Master said that using ice will only suppress your power until you're 20. After that, it'll no longer work. When Master saved this girl's grandmother, an engagement was arranged between the two families. The girl on this marriage contract has a pure yin constitution, and your union with her will balance your pure yang energy. Remember, you must consummate the marriage by the 15th of August. Now, off you go. Head down the mountain to find her. Chapter 2, The Engagement Banquet. Ye Chen put away the marriage contract and asked, Senior sister, how are my other senior sisters doing? Zhao Mingyu replied, Your second senior sister is a powerful CEO. She founded the Dahao Group, worth hundreds of billions. Quite impressive. Your third senior sister, Li Xingnan, commands 300,000 elite soldiers in the Southern Territory and is the only female war god of the Great Xia Kingdom. Your fourth senior sister is a renowned physician. Your fifth senior sister leads the international organization Dark Knight and is always on the move around the world. Your sixth and seventh senior sisters are mysterious. Those two are planning something big. Ye Chen's eyes lit up after hearing this. My senior sisters are all powerful figures. I could live off them forever. Perfect. Ye Chen then hugged Zhao Mingyu's leg tightly, saying, Senior sister, you're the best. You're a young lady from a top family in Longju. You're the biggest of all. He inhaled the pleasant scent from Zhao Mingyu, and she laughed while patting his head. You cheeky brat, you're really good at flattering me. I like it. Go now, it's getting late. Hurry down the mountain and find the girl in the marriage contract. Remember, you must consummate the marriage before the Mid-Autumn Festival, or you might explode. Ye Chen was reluctant to leave. Senior sister, since my 6 other senior sisters and I are all going down the mountain, shouldn't you come down too? Zhao Mingyu replied, You go on ahead, I still have some things to do. I'll be going back to Longju soon. Oh, and here's your second senior sister's number. She's currently in Yun City, so you'll meet her soon. Screech. Not long after Ye Chen descended the mountain, a Rolls-Royce sped by, nearly making him jump into the bushes. Hey, what's with the reckless driving? Ye Chen complained. The car door opened, revealing an incredibly beautiful face. Ye Chen froze, catching his breath. Second senior sister. I missed you so much. Ye Chen rushed over, lifted her, and spun her around. Liu Piao hugged him tightly, saying, You little rascal, you don't know how much I missed you. I wanted to visit you on the mountain every day, but I was afraid of being scolded by the master. Come, let us go to my Dahao Grand Hotel. I'll give you a proper welcome. Ye Chen replied, Second senior sister, master has instructed me to fulfill my marriage contract first, so the welcome can wait. Liu Piao smiled, Master's orders are not to be defied. Fine, go to the Su family first, then. She handed Ye Chen a gold card. Little brother, I'll just give you the Dahao Hotel. Whenever you want to eat, go there. The Dahao Hotel was the largest 5-star hotel in Yun City, where many wealthy families held their wedding ceremonies. Ye Chen's senior sisters were all fiercely protective of him and incredibly generous. Ye Chen took the gold card, saying, Second senior sister, does this mean I'm officially a kept man now? Piao puffed up her chest. I'm giving it to you. Who else would I spoil if not my little brother? There was no refusing. Ye Chen chuckled, All right, I'll head to the Su family now, and then we can catch up. After putting away the gold card, he waved goodbye to his second senior sister and hailed a cab to the Su family. Once in the car, the driver asked, Where are you headed, young man? I'm looking for the granddaughter of the old lady of the Su family, Ye Chen replied. Oh, that is Su Rushue, the driver said. Today, she is holding her engagement ceremony with Zhao Chao, the young master of the Zhao family, at the Hao Grand Hotel. Su Rushue is the top goddess of Yun City. There are enough men pursuing her to circle the globe. And the Zhao family is one of Yun City's most influential families. Their wealth is vast, just stepping on Yun City makes it tremble. Today, nearly every prominent family in Yun City will be there. I heard the Dahao Hotel was fully booked for the engagement ceremony. Rich people are impressive, the driver rambled on. Ye Chen's brows furrowed tighter and tighter. What? Su Rushue was engaged to Zhao Chao. And at the Dahao Grand Hotel? Wasn't he that a property of Dahao Group? Just now, second senior sister had given Ye Chen a gold card, effectively making him the new owner of Dahao Hotel. The old lady of the Su family dared to disregard Master's life-saving act and marry her granddaughter into two different families. Ye Chen's lips curled into a cold smile. This engagement isn't happening. The driver glanced back at him, warning, "Hey, watch your words. If Zhao family hears that, you're doomed." The driver, pale with fear, dropped Ye Chen off at their hotel, then sped off without even asking for payment. At the Dahao Grand Hotel, the place was decorated with lanterns and festive banners, bustling with celebration. Teams of attendants in red kyongsams and high heels moved elegantly through the crowd, serving today's honored guests. A group of well-dressed men surrounded a young man in a suit and slicked back hair, showering him with praise. "Zhao Chao, you're incredible. You really snagged the best. Su Rushue, the number one beauty of Yun City, will soon be yours." "Zhao, isn't she your 30th woman?" "No, you've got it wrong, she is the 41st, right?" "Is that correct, Zhao?" Zhao Chao laughed heartily. "Honestly, I've lost count." Meanwhile, at a quieter table, members of a lesser-known family whispered among themselves. "Zhao Chao changes women faster than he changes clothes. Even the best women don't last more than a month with him. Last time, what happened to that pure college girl?" "Oh, she was in terrible shape. She was hospitalized for internal bleeding after he was done with her, unconscious for 3 days and nights. She survived, but she can't have children anymore. There's never a happy ending for any woman Zhao Chao has been with, he ruins them all." One man frowned, "Then Su Rushue marrying Zhao Chao, she suffered terribly. Isn't there any objection from the Su family?" Chapter 3, Su Rushue's Choice. A middle-aged man whispered, "I heard it's Su Lao Tai and the Su family's decision. By marrying into the Zhao family, they'd get 500 million. Another added quietly, "More than just 500 million. If the Su family latches onto the Zhao family, they could rise to a second-tier family." "What about Su Rushue? Does she agree to this marriage?" someone asked, determined to get to the bottom of it. The man took a sip of his wine and replied softly, "Su Rushue has stayed silent. But soon, the answer will be revealed, just wait and see." Ye Chen, sitting nearby, downed 5 barrels of strong liquor alone, stunning those small family members watching him. Goodness! Is he human? Drinking like that? How did someone like him even get in here? Sure. Look, the engagement ceremony is starting. Su Rushue is here. The crowd fell silent instantly, everyone craning their necks to see Su Rushue. The moment Ye Chen saw Su Rushue, he froze in place. It's her? Su Rushue was the girl he encountered at the hotel yesterday. No wonder he had felt she seemed troubled. At that moment, Su Rushue was being supported by Su Lao Tai and her mother, Qian Yali. The Su family members carefully lifted her white wedding dress, leading her forward. Applause filled the room. 1 word, beautiful. 2 words, absolutely stunning. 3 words, beyond words. Ye Chen's gaze remained locked on Su Rushue. Su Rushue's expression held a frozen smile, her movements almost mechanical. Even her wave was directed by her mother, Qian Yali, holding her hand. Support. Ye Chen's lips twisted in a cold smile. There were 3 fine needles embedded in Su Rushue's back. She had no autonomy, unable to speak or express her own will. She was merely a puppet on strings. Ye Chen slammed his fist on the table. The Zhao family, the Su family daring to lay a hand on my woman. Courting death. Crack. The sound of the table breaking echoed through the hall. Everyone turned their attention to Ye Chen and began whispering. This guy's got a death wish. Daring to cause a scene at Zhao Xiao's engagement banquet. He's in big trouble now. Zhao Chao furrowed his brows and looked over at Ye Chen. Bumpkin. How did you even get in here? You dare to break a table at my engagement banquet? You must be tired of living. Su Laotai was initially startled, but then, lowering her voice, she said, Zhao Xiao, today is your joyous day with Rushua. Let us avoid any bloodshed. It's better to deal with this fool another day. Qian Yoli agreed, yes, the engagement is the priority. Let us exchange rings quickly. Qian Yoli had her reasons for rushing the engagement. She had lost $1 billion gambling and was under pressure from the underworld boss Hailong's men to repay. If she didn't they would take her hand. The thought of that bloody scene made her shudder. Su Laotai had promised that once the 500 million from Su Rushua and Zhao Chao's engagement arrived, she would give Qian Yoli $1 billion. It was all about interests. Zhao Chao nodded. True, today is a good day. I don't want bloodshed. Hey, bumpkin. Come here, kneel down, and kowtow 3 times, then get out of here. Ye Chen ignored Zhao Chao and turned his gaze to Su Laotai. 20 years ago, you suffered a strange illness, an unbearable itch like thousands of insects biting. A mysterious person saved your life, didn't he? And now, although you're free from the symptoms, every night at midnight, you feel chills for 10 minutes, correct? Su Laotai's pupils constricted. Who are you? Ye Chen narrowed his eyes. Who am I? I am the disciple of that mysterious man. Ye Chen's voice was as cold as a knife. When you were ill, it was my master who saved you. You promised to marry Su Rushua to me, signing the marriage contract with your fingerprint. Is that true? The room fell silent. Could it be true that Su family's daughter had been promised to 2 different families? However, this young man was daring. This was a direct affront to the Zhao family. Many families in the crowd secretly hoped for a scandal, as the downfall of the Zhao family could mean spoils for others to seize. Su Laotai smirked. Yes, so what? It was just words to secure a cure. Qian Yoli chimed in, where's the marriage contract? Show it to me. Ye Chen handed her the contract. Qian Yoli crumpled it up, swallowed it, and held out her hands. What contract? You're just a poor wretch trying to scam us. You don't deserve my daughter. Only Zhao Xiao can bring her honor and happiness. Zhao Xiao's engagement gift alone is worth 500 million. What can you offer? You're here to swindle the Su family. Ye Chen's voice grew low and steady. What I can give the Su family, no one else can. Qian Yoli sneered. Pathetic toad. The kind I despise most, poor and still dishonest. Get lost. Zhao Chao laughed smugly. Kid, you're only embarrassing yourself. Su Laotai threw a check for 100,000 yuan at Ye Chen. Take this and go find yourself a poor widow. Consider this payment for my life debt to your master. The Su family members pointed and mocked Ye Chen. Kid, who do you think you are? Get out, or Zhao Xiao will end you. Only Zhao Xiao can bring our family wealth. Qian Yoli glanced disdainfully at Ye Chen. Besides, my daughter has no interest in you. Marriage is about choice. Arranged marriages died with the Qing dynasty. Su family members chanted in unison, get out. Zhao Chao wore a satisfied smile. He hadn't needed to say anything. Ye Chen had been humiliated thoroughly by the Su family's scorn. Ye Chen looked at Su Rushua, then flicked his finger lightly. 3 fine needles fell, unseen, from Su Rushua's back. Suddenly, Su Rushua's body softened, and she collapsed into Ye Chen's arms. The room exploded. Damn. This kid has guts. He dares take Zhao Xiao's fiancée? He has finished. The Zhao family is the city's most powerful. Crushing him is like squashing an ant. Su Laotai and Qian Yoli shouted together, let go of Rushua. She is not yours. Ye Chen looked down at Su Rushua. The marriage contract is here. What Qian Yoli swallowed was a duplicate. Will you choose to be with me, or with Zhao Chao? I'll let you decide. The room tensed, every eye on Su Rushua. Who would she choose? Chapter 4, Wedding Crash. Su Rushua looked at Ye Chen, then at Zhao Chao, lowered her head, and said, you should leave. The Su family collectively breathed a sigh of relief, while Zhao Chao's face lit up with satisfaction. Several minor family members chimed in, as expected. Su Rushua gave in. Chen Yali pointed at Ye Chen, shouting, "Why don't you get lost? My daughter has already said she won't choose you. What are you still doing here?" "No." Su Rushua suddenly raised her head, "Precisely because I chose him, I don't want to drag him down." She looked at Ye Chen, saying, "You should go. You don't know how dangerous the Zhao family is." Holding back tears, she murmured, "I only regret one thing. Why didn't you take my first time when you had the chance?" Although she admired Ye Chen's gentlemanly restraint, it still left her with so much regret. Now, Zhao Chao, that scumbag, would take advantage of it instead. As she finished speaking, a tear slipped down Su Rushua's cheek. She felt utterly trapped, unable to escape. Seeing the lingering affection in her eyes as she looked at Ye Chen, Zhao Chao's face contorted with jealousy. Clenching his fists, he growled, "You shameless woman! You dare humiliate me like this in front of everyone. You're going to pay for this." Ye Chen looked calmly at Su Rushua. "Wife, don't worry. As long as I'm here, no one can force you to do something you don't want to. Not the Su family, not the Zhao family. No one." The guests gasped, "Is he crazy? He's challenging the Zhao family openly. He's done for. The Zhao family won't let him get away with this." Several waitresses sneered at Ye Chen, seeing him as nothing more than an ant resisting a giant. Chen Yali pushed Zhao Chao forward, "Dear son-in-law, if you're going to act, now is the time." Chen Yali was eager to marry Su Rushua off to Zhao Chao to repay a $1 billion debt owed to Black Dragon, the underworld boss. Not repaying was simply out of the question. Grandma Su added, "Young Master Zhao, since Ye Chen doesn't know his place, there is no need to be polite with him. How about pressing his head into boiling oil until he suffocates?" The Su family members chimed in, "Yes. Kill this country bumpkin, then let us officially start the engagement ceremony." Zhao Chao smirked, ordering his men to bring over a large pot of oil, commanding 2 bodyguards to push Ye Chen's head into it. But Ye Chen moved first, grabbing both bodyguards by the head and forcefully dunking them into the oil. In seconds, both men fell lifeless to the floor. Everyone present was stunned. Is he insane? This is Zhao Chao's engagement party. Zhao Chao's face twisted with fury. "You little punk. I didn't plan on bloodshed today, but you forced my hand. All right, then. Men, break his limbs and throw him out." Grandma Su sneered, "He has brought this on himself." Chen Yali mocked, "A toad will always be a toad. You'll never measure up to young Master Zhao." Su Rushua paled, whispering, "Ye Chen, please, leave. They'll kill you." Ye Chen gazed at her tenderly. "I said, no one can harm my woman." He then turned toward Grandma Su, Chen Yali, and the Su family members. "You had a chance to secure a bright future by honoring our engagement, but you threw it away. Don't blame me for what happens next." Chen Yali scoffed, "As if you're capable of anything." Zhao Chao waved his hand, "Go. Break his limbs and toss him onto the street." 4 bodyguards charged forward, but Ye Chen grabbed for chopsticks from a table and threw them with lightning speed, piercing each guard's forehead. They dropped to the floor, dead before anyone could blink. Stunned silence filled the room. The waitresses quietly gave Ye Chen a thumbs up, murmuring, "A true man. Fighting for his love." Seeing this, Su Rushua felt a deep admiration for Ye Chen, who did all of this for her. After all, they had a marriage contract and had once shared an intimate moment. He was so much more dashing and capable than Zhao Chao. Guests muttered nervously, "This is more than challenging Zhao. He has crossed the line with Emperor Group, too." Zhao Chao pointed at Ye Chen, snarling, "You're finished. This hotel belongs to the Emperor Group. No one messes with them, not even the Zhao family." Zhao Chao took out his phone, calling for hotel security. "Someone's wrecking our hotel. They are disrespecting President Liu." Within moments, over 100 armed security guards arrived, surrounding the hall. Smirking, Zhao Chao looked at Ye Chen. "Now what, tough guy? These guards will tear you apart." Chen Yali crossed her arms, sneering, "Actions have consequences. You brought this upon yourself." Grandma Su added, "Ambition without ability leads to disaster. No one can save you now unless Emperor Group's boss himself steps in, which will never happen." Su Rushua walked up to Zhao Chao, pleading, "Zhao Chao, what will it take for you to let Ye Chen go?" Zhao Chao sneered, "Have him crawl over here and lick my shoes clean. Then, maybe, I'll let him live." Ye Chen released Su Rushue and marched toward Zhao Chao, whose confidence faltered under Ye Chen's lethal gaze. But seeing the hotel's security on his side, he regained his nerve. Pointing at Ye Chen, Zhao Chao taunted, "You hit me, and these guards will kill you on the spot." Ye Chen strode forward, grabbed Zhao Chao's head, and slammed it into the table edge. Zhao Chao screamed as his skull shattered, blood and brain matter spilling onto the floor. The Zhao family's attendants scrambled to report back to their head, panicked. "Sir, he killed the young master." Guests were left in shocked silence. Grandma Su seethed, "He just killed someone in the Emperor Hotel. Even deities couldn't save him now." Chen Yali's rage flared. How would she pay off that billion-dollar debt now? She lunged at Ye Chen, gripping his collar. "You pig! You owe me $1 billion." Suddenly, Grandma Su raised her iron cane, ready to strike Ye Chen from behind. Chapter 5 Liu Piao takes action. Go! The security captain pointed at everyone in the Su family. Hundreds of security guards rushed forward and pressed old lady Su, Chen Yali and others to the ground. With a gloomy face, the security captain walked in front of Ye Chen and bowed. "Meet Master Yi." Chen Yali was stunned. Old lady Su was stunned. Everyone present was stunned. The security captain of the Dahao Hotel actually called Ye Chen Master Yi. What's going on? Old lady Su blinked her eyes and said. Ye Chen may know some relatives or friends of the security captain of Dahao Hotel. The security captain is not the boss of Dahao Hotel, let alone a senior executive. I heard that Liu Piao, the president of Dahao Group, is here today. The security captain must be fired and crippled, and Ye Chen must die. What's more, Ye Chen killed Zhao Shao, and the Zhao family will never let it go. Chen Yali also nodded. Yes. Ye Chen is a bumpkin. It's useless for him to know the security captain. Liu Piao, the boss of Dahao Group, doesn't tolerate any sand in his eyes. That's right. I really don't tolerate any sand in my eyes. A cold female voice came from upstairs. Following that, a cold beauty came down the stairs. Crack, crack, crack. The sound of high heels stepping on the stairs is crisp and pleasant. It's like knocking on a heart. Everyone held their breath, and saw several maids, surrounded by a stunning beauty, walking down the stairs step by step. The powerful aura instantly made everyone feel humble to the core. Boss Liu, the founder of the Dahao Group, the current CEO, the richest man in the 5 eastern provinces, the boss of the 500 billion group, Liu Piao. Hello, Boss Liu. The guests at the scene bowed humbly one by one, bowing to Liu Piao like shrimps. With one word from Liu Piao, they or their families would be wiped out immediately. Who dares to provoke her? The Zhao family is just a small scum in front of the Dahao Group. When Mrs. Su saw Liu Piao appear, she crawled to Liu Piao's feet with an excited face to complain. Beautiful Liu, no, President Liu. Just now, this bad boy smashed the tables, chairs, dishes, wine and food of the Dahao Group. I wonder how President Liu plans to deal with him. Chen Yali also crawled over to complain. President Liu, I suggest cutting off Ye Chen's right hand and letting him beg for food. Chen Yali has always hated Ye Chen for ruining Su Rushue's engagement ceremony. She owes 100 million, and Black Dragon will not forgive her. So, Chen Yali wants to take revenge on Ye Chen and make him lose his right hand. Su Rushue hurried over and saluted Liu Piao. Boss Liu, the Su family wants to sell me to Zhao Chao as a tool to make money. Zhao Chao is extremely perverted. All women who have passed through his hands are ruined. And Ye Chen and I have already been engaged, and we are very loving. Su Rushue suddenly knelt at Liu Piao's feet and choked up. So, please, Boss Liu, show mercy and help me and Ye Chen. Su Rushue thought that Liu Piao was so beautiful, and her heart must not be too bad, right? So, she dared to ask Liu Piao to help. Everyone trembled and listened tremblingly. Liu Piao's words could decide life and death. Liu Piao looked down at Su Rushue. What did you say just now? Say it again. Old Lady Su and Chen Yali looked very proud. Ye Chen smashed the tables, chairs, wine and food of the Imperial Hotel, which are worth at least tens of millions. How can Mr. Liu let it go? It's no use begging you. Su Rushue gritted her teeth and repeated what she had just said. Liu Piao stretched out her jade hand and said to Su Rushue. Sister, get up quickly. Sister. Everyone was stunned again when they heard this address. What's going on? How did Su Rushue become Liu Piaopiao's sister? How did this generation come from? Chen Yali looked at Mrs. Su. Mrs. Su blinked her eyes and looked puzzled. Our Su family has no relatives with the Liu family at all. Not to mention currying favor, we don't even have the qualifications to curry favor. Chen Yali suddenly stood up. I know. Mr. Liu is my Rushue's classmate, right? Har har har. Kneel down. Liu Piaopiao's voice was as cold as a knife. A scolding. Chen Yali knelt down again with a plop. Liu Piaopiao said calmly. It's just 10 million, as long as my junior brother is happy. Liu Piaopiao walked over, holding Ye Chen's hand with a distressed look on her face. Junior brother, you like to smash things for fun, just ask the security guards to smash them. Did you hurt your hands? Liu Piaopiao grabbed Ye Chen's hand and blew it on her lips, which made everyone's eyes drop to the ground. Junior brother. Everyone realized at this time that Ye Chen was Liu Piaopiao's junior brother. So, Liu Piaopiao called Su Rushue a sister. This is how the seniority is ranked. Liu Piaopiao's voice was cold. Offending my junior brother is offending me. What's the use of tables, chairs, bowls, and chopsticks? As long as my junior brother is happy, I can light a fire and burn down the Emperor Hotel. Everyone was sweating when they heard it. The Emperor Hotel is valued at least 2 billion. Burn it with fire, just to make Ye Chen smile. Everyone suddenly remembered an illusion, playing with princes with beacon fire. Looking at Liu Piaopiao's love for Ye Chen, everyone lowered their heads and dared not think too much. At this moment, everyone in the Su family rolled their eyes. Oh my god! Ye Chen is actually the junior brother of Liu Piaopiao, the president of Dahao Group. We missed hundreds of billions. If they didn't look down on Ye Chen, they would have directly clung to Dahao Group now. It has become a first-class family in Yuncheng in one leap. What's 100 million? What's 500 million? In the eyes of Ye Chen's senior sisters, it's not even pocket money. Su Rushue was so excited that she trembled all over, and saluted Liu Piaopiao like a chicken pecking at rice. Thank you, President Liu. Still call me President Liu. Liu Piaopiao took Su Rushue's hand. Call me sister. Sister, sister. Su Rushue felt that all this came too suddenly and too dreamy. When did Ye Chen have a senior sister like Liu Piaopiao? Su Rushue's head was instantly confused. Liu Piaopiao looked at Ye Chen. What are you going to do with these people from the Su family? Liu Piaopiao suddenly received a call from her third sister Li Xingnan, so she hurried upstairs. Chapter 6. The Su family is courting death. Liu Piaopiao's cell phone rang. It was Ye Chen's third sister Li Xingnan who called. Li Xingnan said, "Second sister, has my junior brother gone down the mountain?" Liu Piaopiao nodded. You are well informed. You are worthy of being the god of war in the south. Li Xingnan said, if anyone dares to embarrass my junior brother, I will deal with him. Liu Piaopiao rolled her eyes. Do you want to steal my credit? Li Xingnan said, second sister, you come first. If there is anything that cannot be solved, I will take action. When Mrs. Su saw Liu Piaopiao hurried upstairs, she immediately raised her head and said, President Liu will not really go with this stinky boy. The Zhao family fell out. Boss Liu hid upstairs on the pretext of something, which is the best example. Even brothers have to settle accounts, let alone senior sisters and brothers. I have used up all my favors, so I hid away. Ye Chen. You are dreaming of pretending to be awesome in front of the Su family. Chen Yali also became sarcastic. Boss Liu has already hidden, what are you still so awesome about? If you want to marry my daughter, you must also give the Su family 500 million. Ye Chen looked at Su Lin, who had been silent all the time. What do you mean? I want to hear your opinion. Su Lin instantly his face was long. What is there to say? The Zhao family gave 500 million to marry my daughter, you must give the same amount. Can I give it to you for free? Dream on. Ye Chen stepped back step by step, slowly shook his head and said, I can't give 500 million. Everyone in the Su family pointed at Ye Chen. You are dreaming if you want to take advantage. Now that Mr. Liu has slipped away with an excuse, you have nothing to rely on. Ye Chen said slowly, I won't give 500 million, I will give Su Rushue what you can't imagine in your lifetime. But, all of this has nothing to do with you. The Su family can only be Su Rushue's Su family. From now on, you will be penniless. The Su family will be completely banned within 3 minutes. After listening to this, everyone in the Su family laughed with their stomachs. Old Lady Su pointed at Ye Chen. Stinky boy. You are the best at talking nonsense. What qualifications do you have to ban the Su family? Who do you think you are? President Liu doesn't care about you anymore. Har har har. Everyone in the Su family clapped their hands and looked at Ye Chen like a fool. The guests in the hall also laughed. This kid is really overestimating himself. How could President Liu possibly revolve around him? It's good enough to give him a face. It is very likely that President Liu owes Ye Chen a favor, and after the favor is paid off, the two will no longer owe each other. Still want to ban the Su family? Dream on. Har har har. Everyone in the hall laughed together. Su Rushua blushed. She also felt that Ye Chen's words were a bit exaggerated. Maybe it was because she had drunk a lot of white wine just now? Just then, the housekeeper of the Su family came running in with a sad face. Report, old lady, something bad has happened. The housekeeper ran to their hall with a head full of his hands, and one of his shoes was missing. Old Lady Su frowned and said, "What are you panicking about? What's going on?" The housekeeper's face turned pale and said, "All the companies that cooperated with the Su family have terminated their cooperation together." Old Lady Su frowned. Don't panic. We can find other partners. Everyone in the Su family was a little scared. Report. The manager of the finance department ran in with disheveled hair. Because of her anxiety, the wire mesh cut a hole behind her skirt, revealing her spring scenery. Old Mrs. Su took a breath. What happened? The manager of the finance department said with a sad face. Old Mrs. Su is in big trouble. All the funds have been frozen by the bank. What? The funds have been frozen. Old Mrs. Su frowned. Everyone in the Su family turned pale and shaky in an instant. Old Mrs. Su's lips trembled. The funds are frozen. It may be that the new person in the finance department did not operate properly and temporarily froze them. Don't panic. It will be unblocked naturally in 3 days. Everyone finally breathed a sigh of relief. Then they became arrogant again. The finance manager continued. No, it's not like that. I have called all the banks to ask the reason. The bank's explanation is that the Su Group's assets were falsely reported and the bank was defrauded of loans, so the bank directly confiscated all the assets of the Su Group. Plop. Everyone in the Su family fell to the ground. Banned, really banned. It came too fast. Su Rushua blinked her long eyelashes, looking at Ye Chen with admiration. He really did it, banning the Su family within 3 minutes. It also made her feel relieved. Old Mrs. Su looked at Ye Chen angrily. Stinky boy. You have nothing to be proud of. It's just that the Su family is unlucky, and it has nothing to do with you. It's not your power that bans my Su family. What are you so proud of? Just then, the sound of high heels coming from the stairs again. After Liu Piao answered the phone, she stepped on high heels and walked down the red carpet upstairs, surrounded by maids. The scene was instantly silent as death. With just one word from Liu Piao, these people could take a plane up. You can also beat them into paupers directly. Too much power. Liu Piao walked up to Ye Chen and smiled. Junior brother, I just called to ban the Su family. It hasn't been 3 minutes yet, has it? Ye Chen smiled and looked at Liu Piao. Second senior sister is getting faster and faster. Exactly 3 minutes. Liu Piao smiled and said. I haven't killed the Su family yet because I'm worried about Su Rushua. The rest of the things are left to you. The two of them seemed to be chatting, but the people around them almost dropped their jaws. The Su family was banned just like that. Their masts and oars were destroyed in the midst of laughter and chat. Ye Chen said, the people of the Su family are greedy and vicious. They tricked Su Rushua to death. They don't deserve to live well in the world. Thump thump thump. All the people in the Su family knelt on the ground, crying and begging Su Rushua. Except for Mrs. Su, Su Lin, and Chen Yali. Su Rushua turned and walked away. Why don't you understand yet? The key to your destiny is in Ye Chen's hands. The Su family knelt on the ground and kowtowed to Ye Chen again. Good son-in-law, spare our lives. Please spare us. We really know we are wrong this time. We will never target you again. Too late. Ye Chen's voice was cold. If I had come a step later, Su Rushua would have become Zhao Chao's prey. She would have been harmed and become a disabled person. And you people are the accomplices. Apologies are useful. What is the use of laws? What is the use of punishment? Freeze all the accounts of the Su family permanently. Drive them back to their rural hometowns and never set foot in Yuncheng. Liu Piapiao snapped her fingers. Several maids quickly turned on their laptops, and the keyboard sounded. The Su family members opened their mobile banking accounts one by one, looking frustrated. It's over. My account has been permanently frozen. I can't access my account anymore. It's all over. Nothing left. It's not over yet. Mrs. Su suddenly slammed her cane on the ground. Everyone calm down. The Zhao family will definitely come to rescue us. Because I have agreed to one condition from the Zhao family. When the Su family heard the news, they were like chicken blood. The old lady is awesome. Follow the old lady and enjoy the good life. At the same time, several followers of the Zhao family carried Zhao Chao's body back to the Zhao family. The head of the Zhao family slammed his fist on the table. What? How dare you kill my son? I will wipe out his entire family. Chapter 7 Liu Piapiao owes the Zhao family a favor. Zhao family. Several people carried Zhao Chao's body with bruised faces and noses, and knelt in front of Zhao Qingshan, the head of the Zhao family, trembling. Asshole. Zhao Qingshan, the head of the Zhao family, was furious. Who on earth is it? How dare you kill my son? Tell me. Yes, head of the family. Several followers wiped the cold sweat from their foreheads and replied. Today is the day when the Su family and Zhao Shao are engaged. I don't know why a country bumpkin Ye Chen came and claimed that Su Rushue was his woman. Then he hit Zhao Shao's head against the corner of the table, smashed his head, and killed Zhao Shao. Zhao Qingshan was so angry that his face turned blue. He only has this one son. He was actually hit to death by an unknown country bumpkin against the corner of the table? At this moment, the subordinate reported. Report to the head of the family. Old Madame Su called and said she is willing to let Su Rushue marry the young master's corpse and keep the young master's corpse forever. The condition is to exchange for the support of the Zhao family. These followers came out in advance and didn't know what happened later. Zhao Qingshan's eyes were about to burst. Dare to kill my son, I will cut Ye Chen into pieces. Let Su Rushue and my son have a ghost marriage. Let Su Rushue keep my son's corpse forever. Several followers looked at Zhao Qingshan with fear and said. Head of the family, the incident happened in the Dahao Hotel and involved the Dahao group. It's better to be cautious. Liu Piapiao is not easy to mess with when she gets angry. Zhao Qingshan turned around on the ground with his hands behind his back, and then went in to discuss with Mr. Zhao. What? After hearing this, Zhao Qianzhu pointed at Zhao Qingshan's nose and scolded. How do you discipline Zhao Chao? Why hold the engagement ceremony at Dahao Hotel when there are so many places to go? Involving Dahao group, are you kidding? Foolish. Zhao Qingshan cried, it has already happened, you can't let your only grandson die in vain, right? And he died at the hands of a bumpkin. Zhao Qianzhu said with a gloomy face. Fortunately, Liu Piapiao owes me a favor. Originally, I was going to use this favor to exchange for a big project with Liu Piapiao. Now, I can only use this favor to exchange for Liu Piapiao not interfering in this matter. As long as Liu Piapiao doesn't interfere, Ye Chen is nothing. After Zhao Qianzhu finished speaking, he took out his mobile phone and dialed the number that had not been broadcast for a long time. After the call was connected, Zhao Qingshan pressed the hands-free button impatiently, wanting to hear Liu Piapiao's reply. After a short silence, Liu Piapiao's cold voice came from inside. What's the matter? Zhao Qianzhu said with a chuckle. Boss Liu, let's not beat around the bush. Our time is extremely precious, so I'll just say it directly. When Boss Liu was developing the market in Yuncheng, our Zhao family led all the families to support Dahao group, so Boss Liu said at that time that he owed me a favor. You can ask me anytime. I don't know if this favor still counts. Of course it counts. When has I, Liu Piapiao, ever failed to keep my promise? Liu Piapiao said in a cold but firm voice. Zhao Qianzhu said, then I will fulfill this favor today. It's very simple, that stinky boy Ye Chen killed my grandson in the Emperor Hotel. I want to go to the Emperor Hotel to catch Ye Chen now. I hope Mr. Liu won't stop me. Of course I can guarantee that my people will never damage the Emperor Hotel. A bowl and a pair of chopsticks are all they need to catch Ye Chen. Zhao Qingshan looked nervous. Success or failure depends on a word from Liu Piapiao. I only heard Liu Piapiao say. So this is the condition. If you arrest someone at the Dahao Hotel, I will naturally ignore you. Okay. President Liu is really straightforward. Zhao Qianzhu stood up from his chair excitedly. President Liu is really a man who can do big things. He keeps his promises. After hanging up the phone, Zhao Qingshan's eyes lit up. The old man is awesome. This trump card is equivalent to directly removing Ye Chen's trump card. As long as Liu Piapiao doesn't intervene, Ye Chen will let my Zhao family abuse him at will. After Zhao Qianzhu hung up the phone, he immediately said, Quick! Call Mrs. Su and ask her to try to hold Ye Chen back no matter what. Where you lose face, you must find it back there. This time, I want Ye Chen to have no face on the left and a double-faced face on the right. I will also break Ye Chen's limbs. Zhao Qingshan said while sending a text message to Mrs. Su. Try to hold Ye Chen back. The Zhao family will let the Su family restore their former industry. In fact, it's all a lie. The grandson was killed, the Zhao family was angry at the Su family. How could they help restore the Su family? After receiving the text message, Mrs. Su immediately stopped the iron cane in her hand. She bared her teeth and shouted at Ye Chen. Ye Chen is an idiot. If you have the guts, don't leave the Imperial Hotel. If you leave, you are turtle bastard. All the children born will have no assholes. Give birth to a bunch of monkeys. Mrs. Su said whatever she wanted. She was just afraid that Ye Chen would run out of the Imperial Hotel. Su Rushua frowned slightly when she heard it. Isn't this equivalent to cursing her children to have no assholes? Cursing her to give birth to a bunch of monkeys. She had no last bit of compassion. Although everyone in the Su family didn't know why Mrs. Su dared to say that. But Mrs. Su was so tough, she must have another trump card. Everyone in the Su family was waiting to see Ye Chen's joke. Ye Chen looked at Mrs. Su. If you don't commit suicide, you won't die. I have sentenced you to death in my heart for what you said just now. Mrs. Su slammed her iron staff on the ground. Stop talking nonsense. What's the point of sentencing me to death in my heart? I have killed you 10 times in my heart. You have no more cards. You are nothing. Look, the Zhao family is here. Everyone at the scene looked towards the door. Zhao Qingshan, with a gloomy face, rushed in angrily with more than 30 bodyguards holding weapons. Zhao Qingshan looked at Liu Piapiao sitting on the chair, and hurried over to bow and salute. I wonder if what Mr. Liu said just now still counts. Liu Piapiao took a sip of red wine, crossed her legs, and said coldly. When has my Liu Piapiao ever failed to keep her word? Zhao Qingshan said quickly after hearing this, good. Mr. Liu is indeed a man of his words. Zhao Qingshan turned around and said to everyone with a proud look on his face. Everyone. Mr. Liu promised personally that she would not interfere with the Zhao family's capture of Ye Chen at the Dahao Hotel. R. The faces of the major family members at the scene all changed when they heard this. So, that kid Ye Chen is in big trouble. The reason why Ye Chen dares to act so recklessly here is that he is backed by Mr. Liu. Now Mr. Liu has completely let go of Ye Chen, so Ye Chen has become meat on the chopping board, and the Zhao family can slaughter him at will. Old Mrs. Su laughed. Har har har. After laughing, old Mrs. Su pointed at Ye Chen fiercely and said, Ye Chen. A toad is a toad. Let me tell you, you are dreaming if you want to marry Su Rushua. The Zhao family has agreed to restore all the assets of my Su family. I have decided to let Su Rushua and Mr. Zhao have a ghost marriage. To have a ghost marriage. It means to let the corpses of Su Rushua and Zhao Chao get married. When everyone in the Su family heard this, they all raised their arms and shouted. Long live! Damn Ye Chen! Damn Ye Chen! You will never be able to defeat us. Har har har. Chen Yali only cares about whether the Zhao family can help pay back the 100 million she owes to Hailong. Su Lin said that things are out of control and he can't do anything about it. If Su Rushua had lost her last sympathy for Mrs. Su and the Su family just now, then now, Su Rushua hopes that Mrs. Su will die. This is not what a human being says. Su Rushua is completely disappointed with everyone in the Su family. Zhao Qingshan waved his hand and ordered the Zhao family bodyguards. Go! Catch Ye Chen, break his limbs, and avenge the young master. Chapter 8 Ye Chen's trump card. Ye Chen shouted. Where are the security guards? Yes. The security captain of the Dahao Hotel quickly led more than 100 security guards and rushed over. The security captain and hundreds of security guards drew their weapons and surrounded the more than 30 bodyguards brought by the Zhao family. When the small families around saw this, their faces turned pale. When Zhao Qingshan saw this, he couldn't help but look at Liu Piaopiao, who was sitting on the chair, and asked, "Boss Liu, you don't keep your word. You said you wouldn't interfere in this matter, why did you change your mind?" Liu Piaopiao's voice was cold. "Have I ever interfered?" After hearing this, Zhao Qingshan looked at the security captain of the Imperial Hotel and said, "You heard it, Boss Liu won't interfere in this matter, don't you listen to Boss Liu's words." The security captain stepped forward and bowed in front of Ye Chen. "I greet the boss. I greet the boss." More than 100 security guards bowed to Ye Chen in unison. Their voice resounded over the Imperial Hotel. Zhao Qingshan couldn't help but gasp when he saw this. "What's going on? Are you going to rebel? Are you going to rebel against General Liu?" The security captain said in a cold voice. "Don't you know? General Liu has transferred the Emperor Hotel to young Master Yi. Young Master Yi is the owner of the Emperor Hotel. How can you say you are rebelling against General Liu? We are strictly following Liu Zhang's orders." Zhao Qingshan's face turned pale instantly. "Nonsense. I don't believe it." Swish. Ye Chen held a gold card between his fingers and said to Zhao Qingshan in a cold voice, "Do you recognize this gold card?" Zhao Qingshan took a look at the gold card. How could he not recognize it? That was the supreme gold card representing the Emperor Hotel. With the gold card, all the resources and connections of the Emperor Hotel can be mobilized. No wonder Liu Piaopiao said she would not interfere in this matter. It turned out that she had already given the management rights of the Emperor Hotel to Ye Chen. Ye Chen said in a cold voice, "Go. Capture all the Zhao family's bodyguards, don't leave any alive." "Yes." The security captain waved his hand, and more than 100 people pounced on the Zhao family's 30 or so bodyguards like tigers. Soon, there were screams outside. Then, it was quiet again. Deathly quiet. The security captain came back and bowed his head to Ye Chen. "Report to the young master, everything has been handled." Ye Chen nodded slightly, then looked at Zhao Qingshan. "It's your turn." Zhao Qingshan stepped back, then hugged the pillar and said, "Ye Chen, if you dare to touch me, my father will not forgive you. Boss Liu owes my father a favor, and everyone in the world knows it. If Boss Liu does something to me and my father, it would be ungrateful." Zhao Qingshan said, took out his mobile phone and called Mr. Zhao. "Dad, save me." "Asshole. You bastard." Mr. Zhao roared on the phone, "Who did you offend? All the assets of the Zhao family are now blocked. It's over, the Zhao family is completely over." Zhao Qingshan's face turned pale when he heard this. He looked at Liu Piaopiao. "You used your connections to block the Zhao family, right? You don't keep your word." Liu Piaopiao stood up, stepped on high heels, took a pair of white gloves from the servant and put them on. Then he walked up to Zhao Qingshan and slapped him in the face. "Par. When has my words ever come to nothing? Par. Why should I do it myself to seal off your Zhao family? My junior sister can do it. Par. Originally, I was planning to keep you and your son alive and send them to dig coal because I once owed the Zhao family a favor. Now it seems that it is totally unnecessary." A picture came from the phone that made Zhao Qingshan completely disappointed. A group of uniformed personnel dragged Mr. Zhao into the Snake Valley. Giant pythons tore at Mr. Zhao, and were soon swallowed up. That scene was so shocking. Zhao Qingshan was so scared that his soul flew away. Uniformed personnel. This shows that it was not Liu Piaopiao who did it. Liu Piaopiao has money, but she can't mobilize uniformed personnel. Zhao Qingshan's cell phone finally rang. It was a familiar friend calling. "Old Zhao, you'd better die now. Your Zhao family is in big trouble this time." It was the higher-ups' idea to destroy the Zhao family. "I heard that it was the order personally given by the Southern Territory Goddess of War. Who did your Zhao family offend? This is the last call, I'll tell you." After that, the man blocked Zhao Qingshan. Zhao Qingshan looked at Ye Chen. Who did he offend? Isn't it just Ye Chen who offended? That's why he got into so much trouble. The Zhao family thought that if Liu Piaopiao didn't intervene, Ye Chen would be the meat on the chopping board, and the Zhao family would slaughter him. But it turned out that Ye Chen had a lot of cards in his hand. Liu Piaopiao was just one of them. It's not even that big. Horrible. Too terrifying. If he could do it again, he would rather beat his son Zhao Chao to death than provoke this great god. But it's too late. Ye Chen's background is so powerful that it is suffocating. Zhao Qingshan lowered his head and bit the collar of his clothes. Then, his face turned blue and black. A few seconds later, Zhao Qingshan was dead and could not die anymore. Bite to commit suicide. This may be his best ending. All the small families who attended the banquet knelt down. Liu Piaopiao's voice was cold. Just now, you all laughed at my junior brother, stand up. Some people stood up tremblingly, and the small families who did not laugh at him were so lucky. No one dared to lie. The 360-degree video recording of the Daha Hotel, who dared to lie? Are you looking for death? Liu Piaopiao looked at Ye Chen, these families are handed over to you? Do whatever you like. Ye Chen said, I like to slap people in the face the most. These small families hurriedly stretched out their necks, lined up, and waited for Ye Chen to slap them in the face. Ye Chen stood at the door, and when one of them came over, he slapped one in the face. Thank you, Master Yi, for the reward. The beaten small families were all bruised and swollen, nodding and bowing to Ye Chen, and then left. So that's how the reward came from. Compared to these small families who were only slapped twice, the Su family was not so lucky. Everyone in the Su family was completely stunned. The Zhao family, the first-class family in Yuncheng, just died like this. That's a first-class family with a value of 50 billion. Everyone in the Su family was in a state of panic. The Zhao family was destroyed. Just now, they thought that they were too badly punished by Ye Chen. However, now that they witnessed the tragic scene of the Zhao family being completely wiped out, they felt a little relieved. Ye Chen turned his head and looked at everyone in the Su family. The Su family members all collapsed on the ground. Son-in-law, spare me. Ye Chen's voice was icy and piercing. It's too late. I have decided to send you to the coal mine to dig coal. You will never come out again. Liu Piaopiao snapped her fingers. More than 100 security guards rushed up and grabbed the Su family members like chickens, pulling their hair and picking up razors. Ka. Shave all these people's hair. Then put on large, uniform black coal mining clothes for them all. Mining coal. Is that a human job? Ye Chen just froze their accounts. Their family still had some assets, and they could still live an ordinary life. But now, they were sent to dig coal. It was equivalent to losing their personal freedom. The Su family beat their chests and stamped their feet, regretting it. But it was too late. Ye Chen turned to look at Mrs. Su. Old Madame Su looked resentful. I am Su Rushue's grandmother. Don't you dare kill me. If you kill me, you will be struck by lightning. Chapter 9 The Death of Old Lady Su. Ye Chen's voice was extremely cold. 20 years ago, my master saved your life. 20 years later, I can still make your old illness relapse. If there is a punishment from heaven, you should be the first one to be punished. An old witch who sold her granddaughter to a pervert and tortured her to the point of bleeding and becoming a disabled person. If you are not punished by heaven, who will be punished by heaven? An old witch who made her granddaughter worship the dead body and spend her days guarding the cold body. If you are not punished by heaven, who will be punished by heaven? Killing you is as easy as pie. It's not that I don't dare, but that's too easy for you. So, I decided to let your old illness relapse and let you suffer endless pain and torture. From the moment Ye Chen saw Old Lady Su, he knew that his master had a backup plan when saving Old Lady Su. It was to prevent Old Lady Su from regretting. The master actually sealed the GU worm in Old Lady Su's body, letting the GU worm lie deep in her body and fall asleep. Ye Chen only needs to use acupuncture to activate the poisonous insect in Old Lady Su's body. Ye Chen is the head of the Saint medical sect, so he is well versed in this. Old Lady Su ran away. But she sadly found that her legs were like lead and she couldn't move at all. She looked back at Ye Chen, and his eyes were full of murderous intent. It made her feel creepy. Plop. Mrs. Su finally knelt down at Ye Chen's feet. Good son-in-law. I know I was wrong. I married Su Rushue to you as your wife. Ye Chen said coldly, wrong. Su Rushue has never been a tool in your hands. It's too late for you to kneel down and admit your mistake now. Mrs. Su said tremblingly. Su Rushue did not marry Zhao Chao, and she was not harmed in the slightest. None of this happened, it's all hypothetical. And I, as a grandmother, also knelt down to apologize. What else do you want? Is it too much? Leave a line for everything, so we can meet again later. Ye Chen said coldly, if apologies are useful, what's the use of laws? If apologies are useful, what's the use of the death penalty? For me, there are no IFS, only consequences. After Ye Chen finished speaking, he tapped more than a dozen acupuncture points of Mrs. Su with his fingers. Everyone at the scene watched the scene that happened next in horror. Blood began to flow from Mrs. Su's 7 orifices. Then all kinds of bugs, ants, cockroaches, centipedes crawled out from all parts of the body. R. Old Lady Su rolled on the ground. R. It hurts. Good son-in-law, spare my life. I surrender. Ye Chen was indifferent. You have lived for 20 more years. If you can withdraw the engagement, I can take back your life. People saw those bugs gnawing at old Lady Su's flesh and bones at a speed visible to the naked eye. There was a crackling sound. It made the Su family's scalp numb. It was terrifying, too terrifying. Old Lady Su had this strange disease at the time and was saved by Master Ye Chen, but she was ungrateful. Who should be blamed for all this? The blisters on her feet were caused by walking. Misfortunes caused by heaven can be forgiven. Misfortunes caused by oneself cannot be forgiven. Plop. Plop. Su Lin and Chen Yali knelt down at Ye Chen's feet. Good son-in-law. It's all this old man who made the decision. We can't make the decision. Ye Chen said coldly, the old witch deserves to die. But as Su Rushua's parents, you not only didn't stop her, but also helped her. If you even ask for a favor, I will make sure you have enough food and clothing until you are old. But how did you do it? Su Lin and Chen Yali looked desperate. They searched for a long time before they found that Ye Chen was the best son-in-law in their minds. Looking for a donkey while riding a donkey. Su Lin and Chen Yali fainted on the ground in an instant. The Su family rushed to the old Lady Su, beating and stepping on her. You old fool! You offended the son-in-law and made us suffer. If you didn't take the lead in marrying Su Rushue to Zhao Chao and fulfilling the marriage contract, how could such a big deal happen? You said you had a backup plan, but it made us unable to even be ordinary people. Going to dig coal is like being a prisoner. It's all your fault. The Su family didn't dare to hate Ye Chen, and took out their anger on the old Lady Su. The old Lady Su suffered extreme torture. Ants, bugs, centipedes, cockroaches, and her descendants' ruthless trampling. What could be more painful and torturous than this? However, who was to blame for all this? It was not until this moment that she completely regretted it. The means of the Saint Doctor sect were too powerful. If she could do it again, she would never regret the marriage. The old Lady Su was tortured to death. In the end, she became an empty shell. She couldn't die anymore. The car started, and took everyone in the Su family to a distant coal mine to dig coal. Even after driving for a long distance, the cries of regret from the Su family could still be heard. Ye Chen looked back at Su Rushue. Do you think I went too far? Su Rushue raised her beautiful eyes. You deserve it. Can I say that you did something I couldn't do? When old Lady Su said that all the children she and Ye Chen gave birth to were without anus and gave birth to a litter of monkeys, when old Lady Su said that she and Zhao Chao would have a ghost marriage, Su Rushue was already hoping that old Lady Su would die sooner. Such a person is no longer worthy of living in the world, and even unworthy of being a human being. Ye Chen asked again, I will still follow your advice on your parents. Although they have been sent away, you can let them come back if you say so. Ye Chen didn't want this matter to become a knot in Su Rushue's heart. He didn't want his woman to be depressed for the rest of her life. Su Rushue said, do they treat me as their daughter? Even a tiger won't eat its own cubs. They made me marry a pervert and marry a dead person. What they did is worse than a tiger. Ye Chen nodded, they are worse than animals. Su Rushue just didn't feel comfortable saying that. The Su family and the Zhao family were wiped out in an instant. This news completely shocked Yuncheng. The Yuncheng business circle was spreading this news. The Su family and the Zhao family were removed from the list overnight because they offended a mysterious person. I heard that they offended Su Rushue. No. They offended the mysterious big man behind Su Rushue. I heard that the people above personally gave the order and alarmed the god of war in the South Territory. Too scary. Some of the families who attended the banquet went back and were so scared that they fell ill. Some cut off their tongues themselves. They were afraid that one day they would say something they shouldn't say and suffer the disaster of extermination. Too scary. As powerful as the Zhao family is, they don't even have the strength to resist. Su Rushua looked at Ye Chen and asked, "What are you going to do next? For example, the Su family, the Zhao family." Just as Ye Chen was about to answer, Liu Piao called, "Junior brother, don't forget, you must do that thing on August 15th. Chapter 10 Rushua Group." Su Rushua grabbed Ye Chen's ear and asked, "What did the second senior sister talk about on the phone?" Ye Chen scratched the back of his head. "It's the bridal chamber." Bridal chamber. Su Rushua felt it was too sudden. She and Ye Chen had only met twice. She was not ready yet. She didn't want to leave a casual impression on Ye Chen. Ye Chen didn't want to force Su Rushua. There was still a month before August 15th, so there was still time. During this period, slowly cultivate feelings, and believe that everything will come naturally. Only the rush of both sides is meaningful. Ye Chen said, "You just asked me how to deal with the Su and Zhao families. Do you want to be the big president?" Su Rushua's eyes smiled into crescents. "Yes, I do." Su Rushua has a lot of talent, but she works as an inspector in the Su family. After this crisis, Su Rushua feels the importance of money more and more. Because she had no money, she was almost sold to the perverted demon Zhao Chao. Because she had no money, she almost spent the rest of her life guarding a cold corpse. Money, money, money. You can't live without money. Her mother still owes the underground giant Black Dragon 100 million. The Black Dragon Society is a giant evil in the underground of Yuncheng. Even the first-class families in Yuncheng are afraid of the Black Dragon group. You can see how arrogant the Black Dragon Society is. This matter is always a thunder. So Su Rushua nodded desperately. "Think about it." Ye Chen smiled and said, "Then, the Su family and the Zhao family will merge into one company, and you will be the president. The name is Rushua Group." Ye Chen has endless money, he doesn't need these. He doesn't like being bound either. If his wife likes it, he'll open a company for her to play with. It doesn't matter whether he makes money or loses money. Just for fun. Really? Su Rushua suddenly raised her head. Ye Chen tapped Su Rushua's nose. "You still don't believe your husband?" Su Rushua nodded like a chicken pecking at rice. "I believe it. By the way, what method did you use to make the Zhao family disappear in an instant?" Ye Chen smiled and said, "I have several senior sisters, they are giants in various fields. This time, it was my third senior sister Li Xingnan who used energy to destroy the Zhao family. Third senior sister Li Xingnan, the god of war in the south. In charge of 300,000 elite troops. Li Xingnan once destroyed a small country by herself. Destroying the Zhao family is as easy as crushing an ant." Su Rushua felt that although Ye Chen's senior sisters were powerful, they didn't necessarily help him all the time. He still had to work hard to make money. Only Ye Chen knew that he and his senior sisters were actually a family. Indistinguishable from each other. Telling Su Rushua so much at once, she might not be able to digest it, and thought he was bragging. One step at a time. In the room, only Ye Chen and Su Rushua were left. Su Rushua suddenly remembered what happened in the hotel last time, and couldn't help asking. "Last time in the hotel, did you really do nothing to me? Hurry up and tell me." Ye Chen smiled and said, "I really didn't do anything." Su Rushua frowned slightly. "Am I too unattractive, or are you not good enough?" She is such a beautiful woman, but Ye Chen is indifferent. Is it because he is not good enough? This is a serious problem. Ye Chen said in Su Rushua's ear. "I didn't do it, but it doesn't mean I didn't see it. I actually gave you a full body check at that time." Su Rushua's face turned red to her ears when she heard it. Full body check. Ye Chen nodded and said, "Yes. I did a full body check on you out of professional habit, and I didn't even let go of any hair." Su Rushua raised her pink fist and knocked on Ye Chen's sturdy chest. "You are so bad." Su Rushua suddenly remembered something. How about you check my body?" Su Rushua had just seen Ye Chen's miracle doctor skills, so she especially wanted to know her own physical condition. Ye Chen said seriously, "You are really sick. But, just spend the wedding night with me." Su Rushua rolled her eyes at Ye Chen. "TSK. Just say you're greedy for my body and that's it. No need to talk about being sick." Ye Chen stared at Su Rushua and said, "Do you often dream of having a wedding night with the Prince Charming? Your chest is always swollen. You often have dry mouth and sweat all over your body, even turning on the air conditioner doesn't help. All of this is because you are Purian body. In medical terms, your female hormones are seriously excessive. R. Su Rushua covered her chest and was stunned for a moment. All right. This has been the case since she entered puberty. But she is still a virgin. She has never even held a man's hand. She has never been to the hospital because of shyness. Unexpectedly, Ye Chen was right about all of them. Ye Chen further said, "So, you can only get well if you spend the wedding night with me." Su Rushua blushed and said, "Isn't this too fast? I'm not ready yet." Things came too suddenly. She and Ye Chen have only met twice. Everything seems like an illusion. He didn't want to give Su Rushua a bad impression. So, Ye Chen said, "Then, I can temporarily suppress the excess yin in your body and let you return to normal." Su Rushua asked, "How to treat it?" Ye Chen said, "Massage, I need to massage your lower abdomen to suppress the pure yin in your body. Then, be gentle." Su Rushua looked shy. "Lie down." Ye Chen looked at Su Rushua and said. Su Rushua lay on the bed, shyly opened her clothes, revealing a part of her belly. "Be gentle, your eyes are like a greedy snake." Ye Chen said, "Don't worry, I won't hurt you." Ye Chen rubbed his two big hands to warm them up, and massaged Su Rushua's belly. A pure yang qi was introduced into Su Rushua's body by Ye Chen. At the same time, Ye Chen also felt that his originally burning body became extremely comfortable. One is a pure yang body. One is a pure yin body. Is there anything more suitable than this? Both of them absorbed the breath they needed from each other. Soon, both of them were sweating profusely. Ye Chen sniffed and said with a smile, "It smells so good. I like the smell of your sweat." Har har har, this is what people call bad smells like each other, right? You are so conceited. Su Rushua looked shy. In fact, she was also secretly breathing in Ye Chen's scent. However, she was deliberately suppressing it. She was thinking in her heart, but her mouth was very hard. Ye Chen laughed. Women are animals who say one thing and mean another. Ye Chen secretly admired. This is just a massage for her, and I get so many benefits. If I spend the bridal chamber with her on August 15th, after taking yin and replenishing yang, what a huge breakthrough will I get? Su Rushua fluttered and sat up, and said to Ye Chen, "I need to go busy. When I'm done with this, I'll give you a surprise." Ye Chen blinked his eyelids. Surprise? Will it be the bridal chamber? I am really looking forward to it. Su Rushua went to the company, the two companies merged, personnel arrangements, internal integration. Su Rushua was busy. Ye Chen received a call from the fourth senior sister Bai Shui. The fourth senior sister Bai Shui is a famous doctor in Daisha country. Once the crown prince of M country offered Bai Shui a high price to be the imperial physician, but Bai Shui refused. Instead, he returned to Daisha country, founded the Chinese Medicine Association, and served as the president. Bai Shui pouted and said, "Little bastard, have you forgotten your senior sister now that you have a wife?" Ye Chen hurriedly swore, "In my heart, senior sisters are as important as my wife. You are all my reverse scales. If anyone dares to touch you, I will fight them to the death." Bai Shui smiled. "That's more like it. We love you for a reason. Junior brother. Come over here, I met this is a difficult patient, I need you to come and see him." Ye Chen's medical skills are better than Bai Shui's. But the strange disease that can trouble fourth senior sister Bai Shui must be very unusual. Ye Chen hurriedly said, "Okay, fourth senior sister. Send the location, I will go there immediately. I will treat the disease and see fourth senior sister at the same time." Bai Shui quickly sent the location. After seeing it, Ye Chen rushed to the Jiang family. Chapter 11 Dare to touch my senior sister, you are looking for death. The Jiang family is located in the center of Yuncheng, covering an area of 100 acres. It can be seen that the industry is not small, and it belongs to the ranks of the first-class families in Yuncheng. However, the Jiang family is extremely nervous at this time. Mr. Jiang is in a coma, and Bai Shui has acupunctured him 3 times, but all to no avail. Bai Shui was so anxious that a layer of fine sweat appeared on her forehead. She could only use silver needles to temporarily seal Mr. Jiang's acupuncture points to control the development of the disease. This is the most strange case she has encountered since she started practicing medicine. The patient's physical signs are normal, but he just can't wake up. This makes Bai Shui doubt her own medical skills. Just then, David Jiang walked in from outside. He was followed by a golden-haired foreign doctor. David Jiang said, I have invited Dr. Jerry from the United States to treat my grandfather. David Jiang looked back at Dr. Jerry. As long as the doctor cures my grandfather's disease, I will give you 100 million. Jerry was overjoyed when he heard the 100 million bounty. The local tyrants really spend money like water. Bai Shui said coldly, he can't cure it. This disease is extremely difficult. Unless my junior brother comes, it can't be cured at all. I just sealed Mr. Jiang's acupuncture points with silver needles. I'll wait for my junior brother to treat it. David Jiang asked, Dr. Jerry, can you cure my grandfather's disease? Jerry glanced at Mr. Jiang and curled his lips and said, what's the difficulty? Look at me curing the disease with one hand. After Jerry finished speaking, he took out the syringe and pushed a needle into Mr. Jiang. Everyone in the room held their breath and looked at Mr. Jiang. Oh! Mr. Jiang's throat moved, and then he opened his eyes. Dr. Jerry is so amazing. The old man is awake. Everyone in the Jiang family was surprised. Western medicine is still the best. The disease is cured. Jerry stretched out his hand. Give me the money, my time is very tight, I still have to go to treat Wang Fuhao. Jiang David was about to give a check for 100 million, but Bai Shui snorted coldly. The old man's illness has worsened. Jerry is a liar. Nonsense. Jerry said angrily. You can't treat it, and you dare to slander me. Jiang David said, Dr. Jerry, I believe you. Jiang David then turned around and pointed at Bai Shui and said, Chinese medicine is all embroidered pillows. Bai Shui snorted coldly, you dare to look down on me? I will ban the Jiang family. I will never treat the Jiang family again. After hearing this, the Jiang family turned pale. Bai Shui is the president of the Chinese Medicine Association. She can ban and not treat diseases with just one word. How can people not get sick if they eat grains? Jiang David looked indifferent. With Dr. Jerry, I can just use Western medicine. Your ban is useless to me. A figure suddenly appeared. He broke Jiang David's finger with a snap. Dare to disrespect my fourth senior sister, kneel down and kowtow to apologize. The person is Ye Chen. Bai Shui saw that it was Ye Chen and threw herself into his arms. You are finally here. Do you know how much I miss you? I wanted to go up the mountain to find you several times, but I was afraid of the master's punishment. Ye Chen blinked, fourth senior sister, I miss you too. Jiang David looked at his broken finger and jumped in anger. Smelly boy. You are so brave to break my finger on my Jiang family's territory. You are finished. Ye Chen looked back at Jiang David. Kneel down. Kowtow to apologize to my fourth senior sister. Jiang David looked up and down at Ye Chen. He didn't have any branded clothes. Isn't he just a bumpkin? Jiang David bared his teeth and said. Apologize. Open your eyes and look, where is this? This is my Jiang family. Does the Jiang family know? It's a first-class family in Yuncheng. The Jiang family and the Zhao family are not on good terms, so the Jiang family did not attend Zhao Chao's engagement party. Naturally, they don't know Ye Chen. So, they don't take Ye Chen seriously at all. Ye Chen said lightly, in my eyes, the Jiang family is nothing. Ye Chen has already destroyed the Zhao family, and destroying the Jiang family is no problem. Jiang David was in pain and anxious. You're finished, brat. You dare to provoke the Jiang family, are you looking for death? Who is looking for death? At this moment, a middle-aged man walked in from outside. Jiang David saw the middle-aged man and said, Uncle. I'm not talking about you, I'm talking about this kid, he actually dared to break my finger in Jiang's house. Jiang David's uncle Li Fa couldn't help but shrink his pupils when he saw Ye Chen. Li Fa also attended Zhao Chao's engagement party at that time, so he had seen Ye Chen. He saw Ye Chen destroy the Su family and the Zhao family with his own eyes. How could they afford to provoke such a mysterious person? Li Fa said to Jiang David nervously, hurry up and do it according to Mr. Yi's request. Hurry up. If the Jiang family doesn't want to be exterminated. Li Fa's eyes were full of fear. He nodded and said to Ye Chen, Mr. Yi, Jiang David is ignorant, you can treat Jiang David however you want, and we, the Li family, have no objection to killing him. Everyone in the Jiang family was confused. The assets of this uncle's family are about the same as the size of the Jiang family. He usually treats Jiang David as his own son. Now he actually said such words. He would not mind killing Jiang David. So afraid of Ye Chen. What kind of background does Ye Chen have? Jiang David frowned and said, Uncle. Are you so mean? This is the Jiang family. Not the Li family. Please don't meddle in other people's business. At this time, Jiang David's father, Jiang Cheng, came in from outside. Jiang David hurriedly complained to his father. Dad. My uncle is so mean and wants to hit me. Li Fa whispered a few words in Jiang Cheng's ear. Jiang Cheng's face changed. Then, Jiang Cheng kicked Jiang David. You bastard. Your uncle is saving you. Jiang Cheng punched and kicked Jiang David. Everyone in the Jiang family was stunned. What kind of background does Ye Chen have? What makes Li Fa and Jiang Cheng so scared? Kneel down and apologize. Jiang Cheng kicked Jiang David in the face. Then, Jiang Cheng bowed to Ye Chen. Mr. Yi. Jiang David is ignorant and offended Mr. Yi and Dr. Bai. Mr. Yi, I have no objection even if you kill Jiang David. The Jiang family will never avenge Jiang David. The Jiang family will dump Jiang David's body in the wilderness. Do you think this is okay? Nest. Everyone in the Jiang family was completely shocked. Not only did they not avenge Jiang David, but they also dumped his body in the wilderness. This is not to say that they don't want family affection, but also to say that they don't want face. What exactly made Jiang Cheng and Li Fa so afraid of Ye Chen? Is Ye Chen a devil? Jiang David was also completely frightened at this time. He usually shows off his power and is the eldest son of the Jiang family. Without this identity, he is nothing. So Jiang David knelt in front of Bai Shui and kowtowed. I was wrong. Just treat me as a fart. Everyone in the Jiang family was shocked and terrified at this time. The dignified young master of Jiangcheng actually knelt in front of a bumpkin. And on his own territory. Bai Shui waved her hand. Forget it, I'm too lazy to bother with you. Bai Shui didn't want to be disturbed by such emotions just after meeting her junior brother. Junior brother, let's go. Bai Shui took Ye Chen's hand and turned to leave. At this moment, the Jiang family doctor shouted. No. The old man fainted. What should I do? Jiang Cheng knelt on the ground with a plop, kowtowed like pounding garlic. Please be kind, Mr. Yi, and treat the old man. I won't use you for nothing, I will definitely reward you handsomely. Chapter 12 Live Eating Flies. When the Jiang family saw the head of the family kneeling, they all knelt on the ground and kowtowed to Ye Chen. Please have mercy, Mr. Yi. Jiang Cheng had punished his son Jiang David, and knelt on the ground to beg for help devoutly. Ye Chen has always been a person who respects others as much as he can. Ye Chen nodded. Okay, everyone get up. Thank you, Mr. Yi. Thank you, Dr. Bai. Please. Jiang Cheng bowed and led Ye Chen to the inner hall. Ye Chen looked at the furnishings in the inner hall. It must be said that as one of the four major families in Yuncheng, the furnishings in the inner hall of the Jiang family are extremely sophisticated. A dragon chair is particularly eye-catching. After seeing it, Ye Chen knew what was going on. Jiang Cheng asked, Mr. Yi, what disease did the old man have? Ye Chen said calmly, the old man is not sick, but he has been hit by the evil spirit. Jiang Cheng was shocked. This, please tell me clearly, Mr. Yi. Ye Chen asked, does Mr. Jiang often sit on this dragon chair? Jiang Cheng replied, yes, the Jiang family spent a lot of money to buy this dragon chair. The old man likes it, so he sits on it every day. Ye Chen said, the problem lies in this dragon chair. Although this dragon chair is good, an emperor died on it, so the evil spirit and resentment are particularly heavy. Unconsciously, it invaded the old man's body, and the evil spirit cannot be detected. This is also the reason for the old man's strange disease. If it weren't for my fourth sister using silver needles to seal Mr. Jiang's acupuncture points, your old man would have been finished long ago. Jiang Cheng cast a grateful glance at Bai Shui. Then he wiped the sweat off his forehead and asked, I wonder if Mr. Yi has a way to cure the old man's strange disease. Ye Chen nodded, it's a small matter. It will be cured. Puff. Jerry sneered, it's just nonsense. What evil spirit, what resentment, just a charlatan. Jerry ridiculed Ye Chen. Ye Chen looked back at Jerry and said coldly, how about we make a bet? Jerry pouted and said, let's fight. I can't cure it, so I don't believe you can. Jerry has always looked down on Chinese medicine, thinking that Chinese medicine is rubbish and Western medicine is the king. What's more, what Ye Chen said just now is exactly the same as the street charlatan. Jiang David had just had his fingers broken by Ye Chen, and was scolded by his father. He was not completely convinced by Ye Chen in his heart. Jiang David felt that his father might have been fooled by Ye Chen, the charlatan. So, David Jiang said, "Since it's a bet, there should be some stakes. Whoever loses will eat a fly live." At this time, David Jiang thought that Ye Chen would definitely lose. How could he beat a doctor of medicine from country M? Jerry kept nodding, yes, yes. This bet is great. Do you dare to bet? Ye Chen nodded, okay, it's a deal. Jerry looked very proud. As a doctor of medicine from country M, he couldn't cure Mr. Jiang's disease, so how could a charlatan cure it? Everyone in the Jiang family also widened their eyes. Eating a fly live. This is disgusting. Jiang Cheng said, then I'll add another bet. If Mr. Yi can cure the old man's illness, I'd like to give Mr. Yi Genting number 1 as a medical fee. When the Jiang family heard about Genting number 1, their eyes widened instantly. Oh my god. Genting number 1 is the king of land in Yuncheng. It's worth 1 billion. The people who live in Genting number 1 are all big stars and internet celebrities. It's a gathering place for beauties. It's amazing. Jerry couldn't help but curl his lips and said, if Ye Chen loses, how about Genting number 1 also belongs to me? Without waiting for Jiang Cheng to say anything, Ye Chen said, I agree. Jerry was very proud. Ye Chen continued, then I have to add one more thing. If I win, you have to kneel on the ground and eat flies live. Jerry said firmly, okay. You can't cure it anyway. Bai Shui said, just wait and eat flies live. There is no disease in this world that my junior brother can't cure. Today, I'll cure your mouth. Junior brother. I'll help you, let's get started. After Bai Shui finished speaking, she took out a box of silver needles from the medicine box and put them in Ye Chen's hand. Ye Chen pinched out 7 silver needles, and then pierced into several acupuncture points on the top of Mr. Jiang's head. Everyone in the Jiang family was stunned. Oh my god. Is this a cure? Why does it look like a murder? Everyone in the Jiang family didn't dare to speak loudly, and covered their mouths and whispered in private. I saw that Mr. Jiang's face was getting darker and darker, and a black gas came out from the needle holes of the 7 silver needles. Jiang David saw this and shouted. Stop. Ye Chen, what are you doing? Par. Jiang Cheng slapped Jiang David in the face. If you dare to say anything more, I will expel you from the Jiang family. Jiang Cheng had his own plan. Mr. Jiang's disease was already terminal. It was a death anyway, so why not let Ye Chen give it a try? If he was cured, it would be a good thing. Jerry had already set up the mobile phone stand, and he said to his fans, dear friends, you will see a live broadcast of eating flies below. Jerry is not only a doctor of medicine, he is also an internet celebrity. He has no less than 10 million fans. Jerry has prepared 10 green bin flies. Extra large ones. He is ready to let Ye Chen eat flies live. He is disgusted to death. Har har har. The fans were all excited when they heard it. Eating a fly live. I'm really looking forward to it. Host, who is eating a fly? Is it you? Jerry hurriedly said, it's not me, it's that guy. I made a bet with him. If he loses, he will eat a fly live. Jerry repeated to the fans about the bet he made with Ye Chen about curing the disease on his phone. The fans laughed and said, I'm really looking forward to it. We're waiting to see the show. The next second, Mr. Jiang gurgled in his throat, then opened his eyes, and then turned over and sat up. David Jiang was stunned. Jiang Cheng was stunned. Jerry was stunned. Everyone was stunned. Except Bai Shui. Because Bai Shui knew the level of her junior brother. The head of the Saint Doctor sect is not just a boast. The fan group was full of comments. What's going on? So, the anchor lost, right? Who eats the flies? I'm looking forward to it. Jerry gritted his teeth and said, impossible. The old man can't get better. The next second, Grandpa Jiang vomited a mouthful of black blood. Jerry slapped his thigh and laughed. I said, he can't be cured at all. See? Vomiting blood. Har har har, Ye Chen, hurry up and eat flies on the live broadcast. The fans in the live broadcast room pounded the table. Hurry up and eat flies. If you dare to deny it, we will hunt you down. Jerry held the 10 large green bin flies in front of Ye Chen. Eat it, eat it. Har har har. Grandpa Jiang laughed. Then, Grandpa Jiang bowed to Ye Chen. Thank you, Mr. Yi. Comfortable, so comfortable. R. Everyone was stunned for a moment. Fans were even more persistent. What's going on? Explain it quickly. Jerry shook his head and said, impossible. Absolutely impossible. I am a doctor of medicine in the United States. How can he, a charlatan, cure a disease that cannot be cured? Jerry shouted. I want to check. Use the most advanced medical equipment to check Mr. Jiang. Jiang's family doctor immediately took action. While checking and reporting. Body temperature, 36.5. Blood pressure, 80/120. Heart rate, 85 beats minute. White blood cells are normal. Red blood cells are normal. Everything is normal. And, the old man's original tracheitis, pneumonia, and meningitis have all recovered. The old man's current physical indicators are equivalent to being 20 years younger. The family doctor excitedly reported the examination data. Everyone at the scene was silent. It was so shocking. It was unbelievable. Their holy doctor sect is really a living dead, flesh and bones. Jiang Cheng hurriedly said, here is the key to the Genting number 1 villa, please accept it, Mr. Yi. Old Master Jiang stroked his beard and smiled. Mr. Yi. I will give you this dragon throne. Later, I will order someone to carry the dragon throne to Genting number 1 villa. Ye Chen was not polite and took the villa key. The evil spirit of the dragon throne was not a problem for him at all. David Jiang knelt in front of Ye Chen with a plop and kowtowed devoutly. Master. I was blind before. I am convinced now, completely convinced. David Jiang turned around and pointed at Jerry. You lose. Kneel down and eat flies, live now. Chapter 13 Du Qingdi. Jerry's fans also changed sides. Eat flies live. Otherwise, I'll dox you. Kick you out of Daxia. You know there are always people better than you. Traditional Chinese medicine should not be insulted. Eat flies. Jerry cried. Why would he catch 10 flies if he knew? Now, there are so many flies, and he has to eat them all by himself. Jerry knelt on the ground and swallowed the flies one by one in front of the camera. You said he was disgusted. After eating 10 flies, he ran to the toilet and almost vomited his intestines. It was really overwhelming. Old Master Jiang announced in public. Mr. Yi is a noble of my Jiang family. Seeing him is like seeing me. Old Master Jiang looked at Ye Chen again and said. In the future, if Mr. Yi needs me, Jiang, just ask. I will go through fire and water for you. Old Master Jiang looked at Jiang David and said. You, go and be Mr. Yi's driver. Old Master Jiang is very accurate in judging people. Ye Chen is good at medicine and martial arts. He will definitely reach the top of the pyramid one day. If we can make friends with Ye Chen, it will be a blessing for the Jiang family. Jiang Cheng also hurriedly bowed to Ye Chen and said. Mr. Yi, the dragon throne has been sent to Genting number 1 villa. Later, Genting villa will be given to Mr. Yi. Ye Chen nodded and was not polite, because he was worth it. Jiang David hurriedly walked to Ye Chen and bowed. Where are Mr. Yi and Dr. Bai going? I'll take you there. I'm very familiar with Yuncheng. I know all the places with good food. I can be Mr. Yi's driver. Ye Chen and Bai Shui had just come to Yuncheng. Apart from the Imperial Hotel owned by the second senior sister, they really didn't know where the food was better. So he nodded and said, okay, you drive. Okay. Jiang David happily became Ye Chen's driver. When the Jiang family saw this, they were all shocked. Jiang David, that's the young master of one of the four major families in Yuncheng. He was willing to be Ye Chen's driver. Jiang David drove the car, and Ye Chen and Bai Shui sat in the back. Bai Shui looked at the shops passing by their window curiously, and suddenly pointed with her hand and said, let's go here. David Jiang parked the car and waited in it. Ye Chen and Bai Shui entered Heidilyu one after the other. They found a seat by the window and sat down. Bai Shui ordered a few bottles of red wine and a large table of dishes. While drinking, Bai Shui asked with a smile. How is the matter between you and Su Rushue going? Ye Chen asked, what do you mean? Bai Shui pinched the flesh on Ye Chen's thigh. Of course it's the bridal chamber. Didn't Master say that you must have the bridal chamber with Su Rushue before August 15th? You are not rejected, are you? Ye Chen coughed, isn't it August 15th yet? Bai Shui heard it and slapped the table. Is it Su Rushue who refuses to agree? Senior sister, I'll give her some medicine and carry her to your room. Bai Shui is very protective of this junior brother. And this matter concerns the life of the junior brother. If the junior brother cannot get Su Rushue's body, Ye Chen will explode himself. This is a big deal. Ye Chen chuckled and said, I don't want to force Su Rushue. It will be refreshing if she takes the initiative. Fourth senior sister, you are still the same, poisoning at every turn. You are about to become the enchantress Lan Feng Wang. Bai Shui rolled her eyes when she heard it. Junior brother, what do you mean? Comparing me to Lan Feng Wang, the poisonous woman. Ye Chen hurriedly apologized, I was wrong, fourth senior sister is a miracle doctor. Not comparable to Lan Feng Wang, the leader of the five poison sect. Lan Feng Wang is the offspring of their master who became a playboy, and is best at using poison. Bai Shui pouted and said, I am the president of the Chinese Medicine Association of China, and I am upright. You compare me to that poisonous woman Lan Feng Wang, you should apologize quickly. Ye Chen hurriedly said, fourth senior sister, I was wrong. No, you drink my half glass of wine. Bai Shui said, handing the wine glass in front of her to Ye Chen, on which there was a distinct mark of her red lips. Ye Chen took the wine glass, and then drank the red lip mark in one gulp. The people of Ju Wu looked at each other with wide eyes. Such a beautiful woman was taken advantage of by a country bumpkin. Great. Bai Shui clapped her hands and laughed. Little bastard, tell me quickly, what did you do to Su Rushue? How did you do it? Ye Chen was speechless for a while. Just as he was about to answer, he saw a young playboy, surrounded by two black-clothed boys, coming in from outside. When the young playboy saw Bai Shui, his eyes lit up instantly. Beauty. Bai Shui has a graceful figure and skin whiter than snow. She is stunningly beautiful. The young playboy came over and patted the table in front of Ye Chen and said, I bought this seat. I'll give you 100,000. The young playboy obviously saw Bai Shui's beauty, so he wanted to sit next to Bai Shui. Ye Chen looked down at the 100,000 yuan with a cold face. Is 100,000 yuan a lot? The two followers behind the young playboy shouted sternly. Don't refuse a toast and drink a forfeit. Do you know who our young master is? It's Du Qingdi. Du Qingdi. When the diners around heard the name Du Qingdi, their faces turned pale. The diners whispered. Oh my God. Du Qingdi is the son of Hailong, the chairman of the Black Dragon Society. The Black Dragon Society is the boss of the underground world in Yuncheng. Even the first-class families in Yuncheng have to be afraid of it. The industries of the Black Dragon Society are all gray area industries, casinos, nightclubs, and the profits are extremely lucrative. No one dares to collect taxes. Huh? Still collecting taxes? It would be great if the Black Dragon Society didn't collect taxes from others. A few days ago, a kid lost 50 million in a casino under the Black Dragon Society, and Du Qingdi cut off one of his hands. Didn't you hear about it? Too scary. Is it death to offend Mr. Du? Sure. The diners all shut their mouths, their eyes full of fear. Ye Chen frowned slightly. Black Dragon Society. He remembered that Chen Yali once gambled in the underground bank of the Black Dragon Society and lost 100 million, so she supported selling Su Rushue to Zhao Chao. I didn't expect to meet Black Dragon's son Du Qingdi here. If the people of the Black Dragon Society dared to provoke him, he didn't mind making the Black Dragon Society disappear. Du Qingdi saw that Ye Chen didn't say a word and thought he was afraid of him. Du Qingdi took back 100,000 yuan and pointed at Ye Chen's nose and said, Stinky boy. Are you afraid? It's too late. Kneel down. Kneel down and crawl under my crotch. The diners around shook their heads. This kid is in trouble. It would have been great if he had left just now, and he still had 100,000 yuan. This time, he has no money. I'm afraid it won't be easy to leave. If you offend young Master Du, you can't survive in Yuncheng. Du Qingdi's two thugs shouted at the same time. Stinky boy. Didn't you hear what Master Du said? Hurry up and crawl under Master Du's crotch. Ye Chen stood up and walked towards Du Qingdi. Du Qingdi spread his legs with a smug look on his face. Hurry up. Crawl under my crotch, har 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 har. Chapter 14. Those who tease my senior sister will die. The moment Du Qingdi saw Ye Chen, he was frightened by Ye Chen's eyes. That look made Du Qingdi feel a chill down his spine. However, when Du Qingdi thought that he was the only son of Black Dragon, the first Grey Gang in Yuncheng, he straightened his back and scolded. Stinky boy. My father is Black Dragon. I am the playboy of the Black Dragon Society. Hurry up and kneel down, crawl under my crotch, and I will spare your life. Swoosh. Ye Chen grabbed Du Qingdi and held him like a chicken. At this moment, Du Qingdi's face turned pale. He saw murderous intent in Ye Chen's eyes. Du Qingdi shouted, No, I'm leaving now. Ye Chen said coldly, Want to leave? You just insulted my fourth sister, you think it's okay? Those who offend my sister will die. Bai Shui shook her head and looked at Ye Chen, giving him a thumbs up. So handsome. Everyone was afraid to breathe. Ye Chen grabbed Du Qingdi's head and hit it against the corner of the table. Bang! Crack! Du Qingdi's head was shattered to the ground, blood and flesh flew everywhere. The brain flowed to the ground. Ye Chen took the tissue and wiped his hands. So soft? It's so weak that it broke in an instant. Ye Chen didn't care at all, just like breaking an egg. Then, he sat next to Bai Shui again. Bai Shui stroked Ye Chen's face. Junior brother, you are so strong. Ye Chen smiled in Bai Shui's ear, Not as strong as yours. The two of them winked and laughed, as if nothing had happened. All the diners present were stunned. That was Du Qingdi? The only son of the Black Dragon monster in Yuncheng. He died just like that. It's terrible. What is the identity of this kid? How dare he touch Du Qingdi? After being shocked, Du Qingdi's two men waved their knives to chop off Ye Chen's head. Bai Shui flicked her fingers lightly. 2 silver needles went out. Du Qingdi's two men were numb instantly. Bai Shui snorted coldly, HMPH. I'll leave you two alive, go back and report to your master. Bai Shui is not only a genius doctor, she also has an unknown side. Her silver needle can save people, but it can also kill people in an instant. Otherwise, if a woman only relied on medical skills, she would have been taken advantage of by these evil forces. After all, this world is the law of the jungle, the strong will take everything, and the weak will always be weak. Du Qingdi's two subordinates were numb. After they recovered for a long time, they hurriedly carried Du Qingdi's body and ran back to the Black Dragon Society's nest to report. Bai Shui has always been a clean freak. When she saw the blood and flesh everywhere in the restaurant, as well as the brain-like tofu brain, she said to Ye Chen, Junior brother, let's go to another place. Okay. Ye Chen stood up, took Bai Shui's hand, turned around and walked out of the restaurant. Black Dragon Society. The two subordinates knelt on the ground trembling, with Du Qingdi's body on the stretcher. Black Dragon was furious. Speak. Tell me clearly. What happened? Who killed my son? In Yuncheng, the Black Dragon Society has always been rampant and bullied men and women. And now someone dared to provoke the Black Dragon Society. And even beat Black Dragon's only son to death. How can a man endure this? The two men knelt on the ground and told the scene in the restaurant truthfully with trembling voices. The two of us accompanied Master Du to the restaurant. Master Du fell in love with a woman who looked like Snow White and wanted her body, but a bumpkin next to her smashed his head directly. Hai Long said arrogantly. My son fell in love with that woman, it's her honor. You bastard. How dare you kill my son? Come on. Go to that restaurant and surround it immediately. Capture this guy alive, chop him into pieces, wash that woman clean, and let her live to be buried with my son. In Hai Long's view, it was their honor to see which woman Du Qingdi fell in love with, and they should not resist. If they resisted, it would be wrong. Yes. Big brother. Hai Long's younger brother Heihu rushed to the restaurant with 30 people like a swarm of bees. And surrounded the restaurant tightly. But they came up empty-handed. Heihu smashed the restaurant to pieces, and then took people back to report to Hai Long. Brother, the boy was scared and ran away. I don't know where he ran to now. In fact, Ye Chen did not run away at all, but Bai Shui had misophobia and didn't want to see blood and flesh and tofu brains. So he bought some wine with Ye Chen and went to another 5-star hotel. After hearing his brother Heihu's report, Hei Long said with great contempt, "Stinky boy. Are you afraid now? It's too late. Investigate. You must find out his ancestors for me. I will make him pay 10 times, no, 100 times. Yes." Heihu took people to investigate Ye Chen's identity and background, turning Yin Cheng upside down, and vowed to find Ye Chen. But Ye Chen didn't know at all at this time, and was still playing with Bai Shui in the presidential suite of the 5-star hotel. Bai Shui looked at Ye Chen and said, "Junior brother, do you know how much I miss you? I almost couldn't help going up the mountain to find you several times." Ye Chen hurriedly said, "I miss the sisters too. Now it's okay. I'm down the mountain and can relax. We can meet often." Bai Shui said, "Junior brother, you didn't eat well just now. I'll cook a few dishes for you. Keep drinking." Ye Chen covered his mouth. "Forget it, let's drink and eat peanuts." Bai Shui is a genius doctor, but he is also good at using poison. When they were in the mountains, Bai Shui often fed poison to Ye Chen. The most outrageous time was when Bai Shui put a poisonous scorpion in Ye Chen's mouth when he was sleeping. However, Ye Chen was used to it. The Saint Doctor sect could revive the dead and turn the living into a pile of dead and bones. Bai Shui threw off her high heels and put her feet on Ye Chen's thighs. "Junior brother, you are a genius doctor and often give massages to others. As a senior sister, I can't get any benefits. This is unfair." Ye Chen held Bai Shui's pair of jade feet and gently massaged the acupuncture points. It must be said that Bai Shui was born to study medicine, so she would soak her hands and feet in various precious Chinese medicines. So her hands and feet looked very soft, white and tender, like a baby's skin. Ye Chen felt the touch in his hand, which was simply too good. Bai Shui's feet had no calluses, were of the right size, and had no corns. This made Ye Chen simply love them. Bai Shui looked at Ye Chen and asked, "Who is prettier, me or Su Rushue?" Ye Chen said, "Both are beautiful, both are top beauties." Bai Shui continued, "Who do you love, me or Su Rushue?" Ye Chen, "I love both." Bai Shui pinched the flesh on Ye Chen's thigh. "Little bastard, you have a big appetite. You're thinking about the pot while eating from the bowl. But I like it. Unlike some men, who think in their hearts but dare not say it." Bai Shui changed her posture. "Tell me, did the senior sister eat you in the mountains?" Ye Chen spread his hands. "No." Bai Shui pouted. "Humph. I don't believe it, I want to check your body." Chapter 15, Jade Queen Xiao Rouge. Ye Chen squeezed his legs together. Bai Shui rolled her eyes and said, "TSK. Why are you pretending? When we were kids, we slept under the same blanket. Besides, I'm a miracle doctor. It's my duty to check on you regularly. This is an order from my master." Ye Chen didn't dare to disobey his master's order, so he took off his clothes and put on a pair of flowery shorts for Bai Shui to check. Bai Shui took a ruler and measured Ye Chen's body, and suddenly exclaimed, "Nest! What a big one!" Ye Chen lay on the bed, and could only let Bai Shui do whatever she wanted. As Bai Shui examined the situation, she asked, "Tell me, how far have you and Su Rushue progressed?" Ye Chen said, "We haven't had our wedding night yet. She's been busy lately and said she'll give me a surprise after she's done with this." Bai Shui murmured to herself, "If she gets naughty and refuses to be with you, you can come to me. I'll give her some medicine and she'll behave herself." Ye Chen shook his head repeatedly. "No, I can wait. With my charm, I don't believe I can't conquer her." Bai Shui nodded. "Yeah, well, I still have something to do, I'll come play with you later. Come, give me a hug." Ye Chen hugged Bai Shui and told her to come to him if she had any problems. Bai Shui left as soon as she said she would, without any further delay. David Jiang ran in from outside. "Mr. Yi, Genting No. 1 villa is ready, and the dragon throne has been delivered. When will Mr. Yi go up to take a look?" Ye Chen said, "Let's go now, there's nothing else to do anyway." David Jiang drove and soon arrived at the foot of Genting. Jiang David parked the car, and Ye Chen went up the mountain alone and came directly to Genting No. 1 villa. "Stop." For security guards stopped Ye Chen. "If you want to take pictures, go outside the line. Don't cross the red line." Ye Chen said, "I am not taking pictures, nor am I posting to moments. I am the owner of Genting No. 1. The security captain looked at Ye Chen with his hands behind his back. "Just you?" Ye Chen said calmly. "Why? Is it not possible?" The security captain held out his hand. You said you are the owner of Genting number 1, where is the key? Ye Chen felt in his pocket. Oh no, he forgot to bring his keys. Ye Chen told the truth, I forgot to bring my keys. Har har har. The security captain laughed out loud, holding his stomach. The 4 security guards also looked at Ye Chen as if he were an idiot. The security captain said, pretend to be struck by lightning. Your excuse is really poor. Can you please prepare your words carefully next time you brag? Ye Chen said indifferently, I'll give you 3 minutes to think about it. The security captain curled his lips and said, what the hell are you thinking about? If you don't get out of here, I'll kick you off the mountain. Everyone knows that Genting number 1 is the Jiang family's property. You are such a poor person, why do you have to brag about something else but Genting 1 is yours? What's going on? At this moment, David Jiang also climbed up to the top of Genting mountain from the bottom of the mountain, panting. How could Jiang David's leg strength possibly catch up with Ye Chen's? Plus he had to stop the car, so he fell behind. When several security guards saw Jiang David coming up, they all stepped forward and said with a charming smile, Master Jiang, this guy is showing off here. We are trying to drive him away. After hearing this, Jiang David's face was filled with anger. Even the old man of the Jiang family was very respectful to Ye Chen, but these security guards in his family dared to offend Ye Chen. Isn't this courting death? The security captain saw Jiang David's face suddenly change. He turned around and looked at Ye Chen and said, did you see that, little brat? Young Master Jiang is angry. The consequences will be serious. Kneel down and kowtow, or you can go down the mountain. Hurry up. Bang bang bang. David Jiang raised his hands, walked over and punched and kicked the security captain. Melee bastard. The security captain was beaten black and blue, and was completely stunned. Master Jiang? Why did you hit me? David Jiang was furious, I'm going to hit you. David Jiang kicked the security captain over, then walked in front of Ye Chen and bowed to the ground. Mr. Yi. Here are your keys. You forgot to bring them to you just now, so I brought them to you. Ye Chen slowly took the key and stood with his hands behind his back. The security captain and several security guards were completely terrified. Oh my god. He is really the owner of Genting 1. This time you can't go wrong. And looking at Jiang David's appearance, he can be said to be servile and fawning to Ye Chen, even like a dog. But they were blindly ignorant and yelled at Ye Chen just now. It was so scary to think about it. Grandpa, spare my life. Several security guards knelt down in front of Ye Chen and said in fear and trepidation. Grandpa, we are pigs, dogs, and maggots, okay. Grandpa, please don't bother with us. Please spare us. Ye Chen's voice was icy cold, as if it came from hell. What I hate most in my life is hindsight. If you make me unhappy for a moment, I will make you unhappy for the rest of your life. Mr. Yi, let me do it. Jiang David turned around and said coldly. Listen to me, all of you. You have offended Mr. Yi, and now the Jiang family officially bans you. Roll. David Jiang then made a phone call. Anyone who dares to use those security guards is going to make things difficult for our Jiang family. The Jiang family will pursue them relentlessly to the end. When the security guards heard this, they instantly felt cold all over, as if they had fallen into an ice cave. They are just ordinary people in Yuncheng, with no money, no power and no ability. Who would risk offending the top families in Yuncheng to use them? Unless you get kicked in the head by a donkey. This means that they will be completely banned in Jiangcheng from now on, and no one will dare to employ them. Several security guards looked at the security captain together, then rushed up together, pinned the security captain to the ground and beat him up. It's all your fault. It's all your fault. You've killed several of us. The security captain had his arms and legs broken and was pushed down the mountain. The Jiang family immediately replaced the previous batch of security guards. David Jiang followed closely. Mr. Yi, do you think this will work? Ye Chen nodded and said, not bad. Let's go to the villa and take a look. David Jiang followed behind and went directly into Genting Villa number 1. The villa is fully equipped and decorated like a palace. There are more than 20 rooms in total, with nannies and cooks working in groups. The dragon throne was placed in the middle. Ye Chen sat on it like a king. Jiang David stepped forward and said mysteriously, Mr. Yi, the people who live in Genting Villa are either rich or noble, they are all wealthy and powerful top tycoons and celebrities. Among them, there are many celebrities and internet celebrities. Among them is the currently very popular Jade Queen Xiao Rouge. Xiao Rouge. Ye Chen's eyes lit up. There are huge pictures of her on the roadside billboards. A stunning beauty. Ye Chen became interested. Go on. Everyone has a love for beauty. No one likes to see ugly things. Beautiful things and people will give people a very pleasing and enjoyable feeling, which will make people feel happy. Ye Chen was of course delighted to have such a beautiful celebrity as his neighbor. David Jiang said, Xiao Rouge, the queen of sweet songs, is not only stunningly beautiful and popular all over the country, but she has also been extremely self-disciplined since her debut. So far, she has had 0 scandals and 0 boyfriends. She never does kissing scenes, flirting scenes, or even holding hands with a man. Ye Chen was fascinated by what he heard. In today's materialistic society, women who can be so chaste are really rare. Especially in the celebrity industry, there are too many unspoken rules. Female celebrities who can keep themselves clean are rare. This aroused great curiosity in Ye Chen's heart, and he wanted to meet this Jade Queen. David Jiang said in a flattering manner. I have already inquired about it. This Jade Queen is at number 5 Genting Villa. She is actually your neighbor, Mr. Yi. Ye Chen lives in Genting number 1 and Yunu lives in Genting number 5. They are neighbors through and through. David Jiang continued, I know Xiao Rouge often goes to the Peninsular Cafe to have a cup of coffee at 10 o'clock in the evening. This is an unshakable habit. At this time, Xiao Rouge should be at the Peninsular Cafe. Mr. Yi, do you want to go over and take a look? Ye Chen nodded and said, okay, I'll go over and take a look now. Chapter 16 Ye Chen, you are really sick. Peninsular Cafe. Ye Chen entered the Peninsular Cafe smoothly. It was mainly because of Jiang David, because the Jiang family was a first-class family in Yuncheng. So David Jiang is a VIP customer of the Peninsular Cafe, and he can enter and exit the Peninsular Cafe at will without any restrictions. At this time, in the Peninsular Cafe, a group of people were surrounding a very beautiful woman and walking towards the cafe. David Jiang arrived at the right time. He secretly pointed at the beauty in the middle and said, Mr. Yi, she is the Jade Queen Xiao Rouge. Ye Chen walked over with a swagger, stood in front of Xiao Rouge and looked at this Jade Queen. I have to say that Xiao Rouge's figure and face are both excellent, not inferior to Su Ruxue. As Ye Chen looked at her, he suddenly stared at Xiao Rouge's chest. Ye Chen was a miracle doctor, and he could tell at once that Xiao Rouge had a hidden illness. And it's not just an ordinary disease. Seeing that Ye Chen's eyes seemed to want to strip her naked, Xiao Rouge couldn't help but feel angry and embarrassed. What kind of look is that? The look of an unmarried old bachelor from the countryside. He actually stared into the meat. Xiao Rouge's bodyguard came over wearing sunglasses and blocked Ye Chen. Go away. The queen won't be signing autographs or taking photos with fans today. If you want autographs and photos, you'll have to wait until the fan meeting a week later. It'll be decided by drawing lots. The bodyguard stretched out his hand to block Ye Chen's way, thinking that Ye Chen was a fan of Xiao Rouge. Ye Chen said, I'm not her fan, but she will be my fan, do you believe it? The agent glanced at Ye Chen. Pretend, keep pretending. Will you die if I don't blow it? Bodyguard, if he doesn't pretend, he'll go crazy. The agent said coldly. You want to attract the attention of the queen? So you speak out like a madman, just like Sister Phone. You know what? This will only make the queen look down on you even more. I'll give you 3 numbers. Leave immediately, otherwise. What else? Ye Chen said calmly. Don't be rude and don't be rude to my fans. Xiao Rouge stopped the agent. Xiao Rouge walked out of the crowd with her long legs and said to Ye Chen. You want to get my autograph to increase your popularity, right? I will hold a fan meeting the day after tomorrow, and we will draw lots then to decide. Sign? Increase popularity? Ye Chen's identity and background are enough to scare anyone to death. Whose signature does he need to increase his fame? It's a joke. Ye Chen looked at Xiao Rouge and said. You are ill, and only I can cure your hidden disease. You are sick. You are seriously ill. The agent blocked Xiao Rouge behind him. If you don't leave now, I will be rude to you. The bodyguards immediately looked at him with displeasure. At this time, a large group of people had gathered around, all of them were Xiao Rouge's die-hard fans. The fans said to Ye Chen with angry eyes, "Nonsense! How dare you insult the goddess in my mind and say she is sick? Do you want to die? Hurry up and apologize to the goddess. Apologize. Apologize." The fans are extremely fanatical and will not tolerate the women they love being humiliated. Four bodyguards walked towards Ye Chen with cold faces. When they walked in front of Ye Chen, they suddenly took out electric batons and were about to hit Ye Chen. "Stop!" Xiao Rouge scolded softly. The bodyguard then stopped. But when he looked at Ye Chen, his face was full of anger. "I wish I could kill Ye Chen with my eyes." Xiao Rouge said to Ye Chen, "Go away, I hope there won't be a next time." It was a strong warning, but it also saved Ye Chen's face. Xiao Rouge didn't want this matter to become a hot topic. "Let's go," Xiao Rouge ordered. After being disturbed by Ye Chen, Xiao Rouge lost all interest and prepared to take people back to Genting. Ye Chen took a few steps forward and whispered in Xiao Rouge's ear. "Have you had a burning pain in your chest recently? Do you feel like there's a stone pressing on your chest when you sleep at night? Are you feeling tired for no reason? This is because you have an incurable disease, breast cancer. Your breast cancer in your left breast has reached the advanced stage. The hard core of the tumor is an oval tumor measuring 2.35 cm x 3.25 cm. I and only I can cure your terminal illness." R. Xiao Rouge was shocked. All correct. Recently, she often felt discomfort in her chest and felt as if there was a stone pressing on her when she slept at night. She thought it was because she was overworked and didn't take it seriously. What's more, she was a woman who valued her self-chastity. That place was the second forbidden zone for women, so it was impossible for her to go see a doctor. Then, how did Ye Chen know so much detail? Moreover, he was so sure that he even described the size and shape of the tumor? Xiao Rouge covered his chest, his face suddenly changed, and then he stumbled out. The agent and bodyguard were stunned for a moment, then quickly followed to protect Xiao Rouge. Some fans waved their hands and said to Ye Chen, "Damn it! What on earth did you say in front of the goddess? Look how angry she is. If something happens to the goddess, it happens to you." Ye Chen looked around and stomped his feet. Ouch! Plop, plop. A group of fans fell to the ground, with bruises on their faces and noses, and they still didn't know what had happened. Ye Chen did not continue to pay attention to these brainless fans. After all, they just admire Xiao Rouge. They can't be said to be bad, just brainless. Meanwhile, Rushue. Su Rushue integrates the two companies of the Su family and the Zhao family. Secretary Xiaoye comes to report. "Boss Su, the Su family owes the bank a huge sum of 500 million. It has already become an empty shell." Su Rushue supported her forehead with her hand. No wonder the old lady wanted to sell her to the Zhao family in exchange for 500 million yuan. It turns out that the loophole is too big and it will be exposed if it is not filled. Su Rushue frowned and asked, "What about the Zhao family? How much funds are left on the books?" Chen Yali owed the Black Dragon Society a gambling debt of 100 million yuan, which was ultimately a bomb. It expires in 3 days. How could Su Rushue not be anxious? Xiaoye took the account book and said, "On the Zhao family's books, there is 500 million in cash, and the rest are fixed assets." Su Rushue said slowly, 500 million is just enough to repay the debt owed by the Su family bank. The Black Dragon Society's 100 million is still nowhere to be found. Xiaoye said, "Boss Su, if you sell some of the Zhao family's assets, wouldn't you have 100 million? Su Rushue shook her head. "If you want to sell real estate and factories, the procedures are very complicated. You have to transfer ownership and go through the process. It will take at least a month to complete it. I owe the Black Dragon Society a gambling debt of 100 million. There are only 3 days left. It's too late." Xiaoye said, "Then, Mr. Su, why don't you tell Mr. Yi? He might have a solution." Su Rushue pondered, "He has done a lot for me. We haven't even gotten married yet. We can't ask for too much. Otherwise, love will become tainted. I have to work hard to raise 100 million plus 10 million in interest and return it to the Black Dragon Society. I hope it doesn't go bankrupt." Beep beep beep. Ye Chen called, "Wife, do you need money? Just let me know if you need money. Any amount is fine." Su Rushue clenched her teeth. No, I can handle it. Ye Chen smiled and said, okay, as long as you are happy, don't be too tired. When you're done, I'll give you a surprise. Su Rushue's face flushed. Really? What a coincidence. I will also give you a surprise in 3 days. Okay, I'm done. I have to get busy. After Ye Chen hung up the phone, he looked happy. She's going to surprise me. Is it going to be that? I'm really looking forward to it. Ye Chen looked at his watch and said to Jiang David. Xiao Rouge should be ill. She'll be calling me soon. Beep beep beep. As soon as he finished speaking, Ye Chen's phone rang. Ye Chen crossed his legs and answered the phone. Xiao Rouge looked painful. Mr. Yi. Can you please come over here? I'm in so much pain. Jiang David blinked. No way. This is too amazing. It's simply amazing. Jiang David admires Ye Chen more and more. Decided to hold on to Ye Chen's thighs. Ye Chen said to Jiang David, I'm fine here, but my wife doesn't have a bodyguard yet. Can you help me take care of Su Rushue? David Jiang nodded and bowed. It's an honor. I will select some good fighters from the Jiang family to protect President Su. Ye Chen nodded with satisfaction, then opened the door and went to Xiao Rouge Villa number 5. Chapter 17. No need for surgery, no need for surgery, massage will do the job. When Ye Chen arrived at Genting Villa number 5, it was already 1 o'clock in the middle of the night. Xiao Rouge was lying on the bed, looking painful. Ye Chen was about to speak when he heard a female voice coldly say, Ye Chen, don't do anything. I have already invited expert Wang from Longju to come. The female agent came in with a female doctor in a white coat. I guess the female doctor in the white coat is the expert Wang Yuxian mentioned by the female agent. The female agent said, Queen, this is expert Wang from Longju. She is a famous private doctor in Longju and specializes in treating the rich and powerful in Longju. After the agent finished speaking, he said to Xiao Rouge, My queen, Ye Chen is a man. Regardless of his medical skills, just because he is a man, we cannot allow him to treat illnesses. If this gets out, the queen's image as a beautiful lady will be completely ruined. Once your image collapses, your reputation will be ruined. The queen should think carefully about this. Xiao Rouge's face was pale, beads of sweat appeared on his forehead, and he felt unbearable pain. Wang Yuxian said arrogantly, My medical treatment is very expensive, starting at 5 million. Xiao Rouge said, Money is not the problem. The problem is, can expert Wang guarantee that he can cure my disease? Wang Yuxian came over and touched Xiao Rouge's chest for a while, then checked it with an instrument and said, It's breast cancer in the left breast, and it's in the advanced stage. The size of the tumor is an oval tumor of 2.35 cm x 3.25 cm. Xiao Rouge was completely shocked at that time. All correct. Exactly the same as Ye Chen said. Ye Chen did not feel her body or use any instruments, but he was able to accurately tell the focus of her lesion and the size of her tumor. Xiao Rouge said, Okay, the diagnosis results for both of you are exactly the same. Then, please tell me how you two would like to treat my illness. This is definitely not a trivial matter, so Xiao Rouge plans to choose the best one between the two and choose the one who is more beneficial to him. Xiao Rouge first looked at Ye Chen and said, Ye Chen was invited here first. Tell me first. What is your treatment plan? Ye Chen said lightly. My treatment plan does not require surgery, medication, or chemotherapy. Wang Yuxian glanced at Ye Chen and said coldly. Nothing, so do you use your mouth to treat it? Ye Chen said calmly, I can use massage to eliminate the lump in Xiao Rouge's chest and remove the cancer cells. Only I can do this. The agent glared at Ye Chen and said, bragging. You are just bragging. I've never heard that cancer can be cured by massage. I think you are greedy for the queen's body and want to take advantage of her, right? Wang Yuxian also said with a cold face. It must be like that. When Xiao Rouge heard Ye Chen say that her terminal illness could be cured without surgery or chemotherapy, she was delighted. Later, when she heard Ye Chen say that he wanted to use massage to treat her breast cancer, her face turned red with shame. You have to know that as a queen of heaven, she has always been chaste. I have never had any contact with any man, including holding hands. But now it is really embarrassing to let a man massage my second sensitive area. Moreover, once this matter gets out, she will immediately become a hot topic. Not only that, gossip about her will be flying everywhere. So Xiao Rouge looked at Wang Yuxian and said, Expert Wang, can you tell me about your treatment method? Wang Yuxian adjusted his glasses and said, Don't worry. My treatment method is to remove your left bober. It will take 49 cuts in total. After all the lesions are removed, you will be healed in 3 months. In order to show off his achievements, Wang Yuxian took out his mobile phone, opened a video and played it for Xiao Rouge. When Xiao Rouge saw those women's breasts were as flat as airports, she held her head and said, No. Don't cut it off. Xiao Rouge is a woman who loves beauty very much and she cares a lot about her body. If you cut off the left side of bober, what does she become? This is like a man becoming a eunuch, which is unacceptable. And listening to what Wang Yuxian said was like being tortured in hell, and having to be cut 749 times. So Xiao Rouge said to Ye Chen, Ye Chen, please heal me quickly, I really can't stand it anymore. When Wang Yuxian heard this, she walked out to their hall angrily, sat on the sofa and said, When you want to find me later, the price won't be this. At least double it. The agent and Wang Yuxian sat on the sofa outside, waiting for Ye Chen to make a fool of himself. Waiting for Ye Chen to be slapped in the face, she begged Wang Yu to treat her first. Inside the room, Ye Chen closed the door and turned to look at Xiao Rouge. The air in the room was somewhat stagnant, and Ye Chen put his hands in his pockets. Lie down and take off your clothes. Your disease has reached an advanced stage. Xiao Rouge's pretty face flushed, and she asked, Can I not take it off? Ye Chen looked at Xiao Rouge, then just take your time. When you have made up your mind, call me. But I only have half an hour at most. Don't go. Xiao Rouge's shoulders shook, her clothes slipped down to her waist, and then she lay down. Xiao Rouge's face was as red as paper. This posture was really too embarrassing. However, waves of severe pain came from her chest, and Xiao Rouge could not help but say, Hurry up. Please. Ye Chen rubbed his hands together to warm them up, and gathered the pure yang energy in his body into his palms. Then pulled the mill back and forth. Oh. Xiao Rouge's body trembled, and she felt an electric current running through bober. Bear with it, it will be very painful next. Ye Chen said. Xiao Rouge's face turned red, Be gentle, I'm afraid of pain. Ye Chen said, Why don't you go to sleep? When you wake up, your illness will be cured. This. Xiao Rouge looked at Ye Chen and thought to herself. Did he want to wait until I fell asleep and do something to me? Chapter 18 Miracle Doctors and Quacks. A sharp pain came. Xiao Rouge finally took the pill and fell asleep. Ye Chen massaged for 3 hours before he used his pure yang energy to absorb Xiao Rouge's cancer cells. During this process, Ye Chen also enjoyed himself. Soon, Xiao Rouge woke up. When she opened her eyes, she saw a white silk quilt covering her body and Ye Chen standing in front of her. Xiao Rouge blushed when she thought of how Ye Chen treated her. Bang! Wang Yuxian and her agent broke open the door and ran in. Wang Yuxian pointed directly at Ye Chen. You little brat. You don't even know how to heal a disease, why are you pretending to be so smart? Go away quickly. Is it at least your responsibility to delay the treatment? Wang Yuxian rushed to the bed and was stunned when she saw Xiao Rouge's flushed face. This is completely different from the sickly look he had just now. Xiao Rouge smiled and said, I don't feel any pain anymore. I feel very comfortable. Impossible. Wang Yuxian shouted. How can a country bumpkin like him cure such a terrible disease? I demand an inspection. Xiao Rouge also wanted to know what her condition was like. After all, this is not a trivial matter and needs to be re-examined. Over there, the agent called Xiao Rouge's family doctor. The two female doctors were busy and began to use various instruments to check Xiao Rouge's physical condition. Soon, the family doctor said excitedly. The cancer cells are gone. No lumps at all. No redness or swelling. Both sides are well proportioned. It's even bigger than before. What a nest. Wang Yuxian almost dropped her jaw after hearing this. I don't believe it. Wang Yuxian still didn't believe it. She simply pushed away Xiao Rouge's two family doctors. Go check it out yourself. After palpation and examination, Wang Yuxian was stunned. 3 hours ago, Wang Yuxian found an oval tumor of 2.35 cm x 3.25 cm in Xiao Rouge's left chest. Now it's completely gone, it's very soft there, no hardcore. It really is a ghost. Wang Yuxian muttered. Originally, the 5 million should have been earned by her, but it was snatched away by this kid Ye Chen. Xiao Rouge looked excited. Ye Chen is simply a miracle doctor. Xiao Rouge said to Ye Chen, I'll take a shower later and then thank you in person. Now, I want to thank this expert Wang. After all, expert Wang came from Longju specifically for my illness. Xiao Rouge took out a bank card with 1 million in it and handed it to Wang Yuxian. This is your reward. Even though you didn't treat me, this is money for running errands. Just as Wang Yuxian was about to take it, Ye Chen said calmly. I can't give it to you. Xiao Rouge retracted her hand. Why? Ye Chen looked at Wang Yuxian and said, because this person has had 3 medical accidents. He has killed 3 people. They all died on the operating table. When Xiao Rouge heard this, she was so frightened that her face turned pale. Is there such a thing? Fortunately, I didn't let Wang Yuxian perform surgery on me. Bullshit. Wang Yuxian looked at Ye Chen angrily. You are just bullshitting. You're just spitting at me, what evidence do you have? Today, if you don't produce evidence, don't even think about leaving this door. Xiao Rouge also looked at Ye Chen. Does he really have evidence? This is no joke. Ye Chen turned on his phone and dialed a number. 4th senior sister. Send me the evidence in the form of a video. Junior brother. Go on. Bai Shui sent a file package to Ye Chen. When Xiao Rouge was sleeping, Ye Chen and 4th senior sister Bai Shui learned about Wang Yuxian's past. Bai Shui told Ye Chen everything. Xiao Rouge covered her chest and watched the video with fear. According to the records of the Chinese Medicine Association, Wang Yuxian had a total of 3 major accidents. The first case, Wang Yuxian secretly kept the anesthetic for herself and did not give it to the patient, causing the patient to suffer severe pain and die from the pain. The second case, Wang Yuxian was not happy with the family members for not giving her red envelopes, so she artificially prolonged the operation time. The patient was weak and died 3 days after returning home. The third case, Wang Yuxian drank alcohol before the operation and forgot to disinfect the scalpel. After the resection, the patient suffered from a surgical infection and died 1 month after returning home. 3 major accidents. And they are all large seals of the Chinese Medicine Association. And there is oral testimony from the miraculous Dr. Bai Shui herself. In fact, Bai Shui had already determined Wang Yuxian's fate when she said it herself. In the medical field, Bai Shui has been deified. Her words are her will. Xiao Rouge was horrified after reading this. I didn't expect that this so-called expert would be such a person. Thump. The agent fell to his knees with a thud. Deaver. I don't know anything. I only invited Wang Yuxian here because I was worried about the Queen of Heaven. Who would have known that she would kill 3 people? Please forgive me, considering that I have served the Queen of Heaven wholeheartedly. I really just want to cure the Queen's illness. I don't know anything else, huh? Xiao Rouge frowned. This time, I'll let you go, but next time, get out of here. Thank you, Queen. The agent knelt on the ground and kowtowed. Xiao Rouge turned around and looked at Ye Chen and said, Oh no. Wang Yuxian ran away. Ye Chen said, she is already a dead person. Wang Yuxian's body can be seen from 100 meters away. Xiao Rouge said in horror, really? Xiao Rouge didn't believe it, so the agent immediately bent down to put shoes on Xiao Rouge and helped Xiao Rouge run outside. Sure enough, Wang Yuxian was found dead outside the villa. The agent even used a ruler to measure it, and was shocked. Oh my god! 100 meters! Exactly! How did you do that? When Xiao Rouge looked at Ye Chen at this moment, she was not only grateful, but also admired him. Wang Yuxian deserves to die. But how did Ye Chen do it? Ye Chen said calmly, it's very simple. Just now, when Wang Yuxian was pushing me, I had already closed all the acupuncture points on her body, leaving only one hole. Within 100 meters, she will definitely die. Wang Yuxian's body has been taken away and disposed of by Genting Properties. Xiao Rouge turned and looked at Ye Chen and said, This time, thanks to you, I want to thank you. What do you want? For example, a villa, a car, money. Ye Chen said calmly, these are of no use to me. I am worried that I can't spend all my own money. Ye Chen was not bragging, he was the head of the holy medical sect and possessed a mysterious wealth. All of the senior sisters are big shots. So money really has no great appeal to Ye Chen. Xiao Rouge blinked, looked at Ye Chen and said. No money, what do you want? You don't want my body, do you? Chapter 19 Xiao Rouge, you really did nothing? Xiao Rouge looked at Ye Chen and said, you don't want money, a car or a house, then what do you want? Ye Chen said, I just gave you a massage for so long, wasting a lot of my pure yarn energy. I'm hungry now. Why don't you treat me to a meal? Eat. Just eat. Xiao Rouge was a little surprised. Thinking back to how Ye Chen treated me, I fell completely asleep just now. Could it be that Ye Chen really did nothing? Ye Chen had already guessed what was in Xiao Rouge's mind, and he said, are you wondering if you just lost your body? No, you can feel it yourself and then you will know whether it hurts or not. Xiao Rouge felt her body and found it very comfortable. There was no discomfort or pain at all. Although she is a virgin, she knows that losing her virginity will be very painful and she will not be insensitive. She heard from a close friend that a woman's vagina will swell and feel pain after her first time. Her best friend also said that if you do it more often, you will feel extremely good. Therefore, the fact that the body does not feel anything now means that what Ye Chen said just now is true. However, Xiao Rouge soon became a little depressed. You know, so many men wanted her body but couldn't get it. Ye Chen didn't violate her at all after she fell asleep. She even wondered if her attractiveness had decreased. Did you really do nothing? Xiao Rouge asked. Ye Chen chuckled, what do you want me to do? Xiao Rouge covered her face and immediately changed the subject. Your medical skills are amazing. Do you often perform this kind of surgery on people? Ye Chen touched his nose and said, no, I always treat illnesses based on my mood. I won't treat everyone. Ye Chen is the leader of the Holy Doctor sect. He is extremely wealthy and does not need to rely on treating illnesses to make money. His master told Ye Chen since he was a child, as a person, you should be as straightforward as possible and there is no need to put yourself in a difficult position. Therefore, Ye Chen also followed his master's teachings, treating illnesses, beating up bullies, and teasing beautiful women when he had nothing to do. Everything else is bullshit. Ye Chen said, I'm so hungry that my stomach is rumbling. Xiao Rouge immediately said, okay, let's go have a feast right away, what do you want to eat? Ye Chen said, I like eating steamed buns the most. Manchu. Xiao Rouge instinctively looked down at her chest. Is this guy making a double entendre? I feel like he's a bit perverted. 10 minutes later, a high-end Chinese restaurant. Xiao Rouge armed herself tightly with a big mask, sunglasses and a hat, and appeared at the door of the Chinese restaurant. Xiao Rouge was afraid of being seen by her fans, as these fans are quite crazy. When they see her, they will surround her, take pictures of her, ask for her autograph and take pictures with her, disrupting Ye Chen's interest in having dinner. Thank you for curing my illness this time. I will have a fan meeting in a week. I hope you can attend. Then, I will give you a surprise. Xiao Rouge looked at Ye Chen sweetly and said. Fan club. Ye Chen nodded repeatedly, okay, I'm looking forward to appreciating your beautiful singing voice. Ye Chen thought to himself, surprise. What kind of surprise would it be? Here. Quick, quick, quick. As the two were talking, a large group of men in black came outside. After the men in black came in, they surrounded Ye Chen's table so tightly that no one could get in or out. The manager hurried in and said, everyone, what would you like to eat? Just tell me. It's free. Get out. The leader in black kicked the manager in the stomach. The manager was kicked so hard that he sat on the ground, his face turned pale. The diners around were so frightened that they dared not even breathe. It's him. That's right. A man in black pointed at Ye Chen and said. Ye Chen ate the steamed buns leisurely, while Xiao Rouge took out a handkerchief and wiped the oil stains from the corner of Ye Chen's mouth. Xiao Rouge asked, is it delicious? Ye Chen nodded and said, it's delicious. I like to eat your steamed buns. They are white and soft. They are so delicious. Xiao Rouge looked shy, then I will treat you to steamed buns in the future, okay? Okay. Ye Chen said with a smile. The two people were talking and laughing as if they were alone, as if those men in black were air. The black-clothed leader pointed at Ye Chen's nose. You little bastard. You're about to die, and you're still eating steamed buns. Go eat shit. Ye Chen slowly raised his head. Who are you? What do you want? The man in black said, listen to me. We are from the Black Dragon Society. Last time, you killed Master Duqingdi and then ran away. The Black Dragon Society has been looking for you for a long time. Today, you will not be able to escape. Black Dragon Society. When the diners around heard the name Black Dragon Society, they were all terrified. Oh my god. That kid is doomed this time. The Black Dragon Society is the biggest evil in the underground world of Cloud City. No one who offends the Black Dragon Society will have a good ending. When Ye Chen heard the words Black Dragon Society, he remembered that he had indeed killed Duqingdi, the first son of the Black Dragon Society, a few days ago. At that time, Ye Chen and Bai Shui were having dinner. Duqingdi wanted Bai Shui to accompany him for dinner and made unreasonable demands, so Ye Chen directly smashed Duqingdi's head. Afterwards, because Bai Shui was a germaphobe and didn't want to see the blood, flesh and brains on the ground, she changed the place to eat. It didn't mean that Ye Chen ran away. When the manager heard that he was from the Black Dragon Society, how could he dare to approach him? The black-clad leader pointed at Ye Chen and said, "You little brat. This is your last supper. Eat it, and then we can get on the road." Boss Black Dragon said that he would cut you into pieces to avenge the young master. Ye Chen said calmly, "I have written down everything you said. I am angry." Har har har. The man in black laughed strangely, and after he finished laughing, he said with a ferocious look on his face, "What's the point of being angry? Even if you die, it won't change anything." Ye Chen said to Xiao Rouge, "Tell me, how do you want me to punish these bad guys?" Xiao Rouge said, "I don't want you to get hurt." Ye Chen smiled and said, "They are all scum. It is impossible for them to hurt me in the slightest. Don't worry." Xiao Rouge smiled and nodded, "I believe you." The two of them were chatting as if they were alone, completely oblivious to the people around them. The leader in black shouted, "Go ahead. Capture this guy and report back to the Black Dragon Society for the credit." A group of men in black drew their weapons, shouted, and rushed towards Ye Chen. Brush. Ye Chen slammed the table. A pair of chopsticks flew out swiftly in an extremely strange path. Boom, boom, boom. 20 men in black, 20 chopsticks pierced through their eyebrows and nailed to the pillars. "I can't die anymore." The leader in black looked at his men. Surprisingly, they all died in an instant. And he didn't even see Ye Chen take action. Fast, it's too fast. It's just like a ghost. Ye Chen slowly raised his eyes and fixed his gaze on the black-clad leader. "It's your turn." The man in black retreated step by step, and finally leaned against a pillar, with nowhere to retreat. Caden, Caden, Caden. Ye Chen walked closer to the black-clad leader step by step. Thump. The black-clad leader turned pale. Big brother, I am just an employee of Black Dragon. I am just following orders. Please spare my life." Ye Chen's voice was low. "What did you just say?" Chapter 20 Supreme Dragon Card. The leader in black remembered what he had just said, that Ye Chen would eat shit, and he felt very scared at this moment. However, he gritted his teeth and said, "I have just sent a message to Black Dragon. If you dare to touch me, the Black Dragon will not spare you, and you will die miserably." Ye Chen took the leader's phone and dialed the number codenamed Black Dragon. "I am Ye Chen. Come to Genting number 1 Villa to find me. I'm waiting for you." After Ye Chen finished speaking, he threw away his phone and slapped the leader in the face. Bang! Ye Chen slapped the leader in the face. Half of the chief's face disappeared in an instant. The diners around were frightened to death. So horrible. So scary. Isn't this palm force too strong? In fact, Ye Chen didn't use any force. Xiao Rouge's eyes sparkled with little stars. So cool. Ye Chen's posture of beating people is simply so handsome. In Xiao Rouge's opinion, a man who cannot protect a woman is not a real man. Ye Chen turned around and looked at Xiao Rouge. This girl is not simple. The diners around her were all terrified, but she was not afraid at all. It seems that she is more than just a star. The leader almost died from the pain. He looked in the mirror and saw that half of his face was gone, a bloody mess. Extremely terrifying. Ye Chen's voice was cold. "Did I touch you? What's the matter?" Bang! Ye Chen slapped the black-clad leader in the face again. Thumping. The leader's head flew out with a whoosh. Then, with a bang, it hit the glass and its brain burst. The diners around covered their faces and screamed. However, there were also brave men who said, "Oh, don't be afraid, this must be a Hollywood movie. I don't think it's real." The other diners relaxed when they heard this, because they had never seen such a powerful person. A slap could send a person's head flying. This is a bit too mysterious. A man bent down, picked up a drop of blood from the ground, put it under his nose and sniffed it, then said with a pale face, "This is human blood." The other person picked up half an ear and said, "These are real ears. Not fake." Another person pointed at an eyeball on the ground and said in horror, "Oh my God, this is a real eyeball. Human eyeballs." In an instant, all the diners ran away with their heads in their hands, howling as if they had seen a ghost. Black Dragon Society headquarters. When Hei Long heard the call Ye Chen had just made to him, he was furious. Bullshit. Ye Chen is obviously afraid of me, so he reported a false address. Everyone knows that Genting No. 1 Villa is owned by the Jiang family, there is no way Ye Chen lives there. Come here, keep investigating. You must find out where Ye Chen is. I want to tear him into pieces. Black Dragon's younger brother Black Tiger came over and said to Black Dragon, "Brother, do you still remember the 100 million that Chen Yali owed?" Black Dragon waved his hand, "I leave this matter to you. Go and get back the 100 million gambling debt." Black Tiger bowed, "Yes. I must come back." On this side, Ye Chen wiped his hands and murmured, "It's boring. It's just too doughy, like a small pumpkin." Xiao Rouge came over, took Ye Chen's arm and said, "These people are so annoying. We didn't eat well just now. Let's go to another place to continue eating." Xiao Rouge's eyes changed when she looked at Ye Chen. There was gratitude, but more of it was admiration. Such men have a fatal attraction to women. Ye Chen said, "I'm full." Xiao Rouge actually wanted to stay with Ye Chen for a while longer. Ye Chen said, "You should buy some underwear. I cured your breast cancer, and it has grown bigger. Your underwear can't cover it anymore." Xiao Rouge looked down at her chest, which looked like two little rabbits about to pop out. Ye Chen's words made Xiao Rouge so embarrassed that she wished she could find a hole to crawl into. Thinking back that this was Ye Chen's achievement, her face turned red all the way to her neck. It really is true that a man's hands and a woman's breasts are a perfect match. Next, Ye Chen accompanied Xiao Rouge to a high-end lingerie store. Xiao Rouge said to the clerk, "I'll pay the bill later. If you have any nice underwear, bring it to me so I can try it on." Xiao Rouge went into the fitting room to try on underwear, and Ye Chen stood outside waiting. A female clerk with drooping eyes pointed at Ye Chen and said, "I guess this man is a poor bastard. He actually let a woman pay the bill. Do you believe it?" The shop assistants covered their mouths and laughed. Ye Chen felt very uncomfortable when he heard this, and immediately waved his hand. "I'll pay." The clerk looked at Ye Chen with his eyes raised and his shoulders crossed. "Can you afford it? It's 800,000 in total. You're just a kept gigolo, a gigolo." Ye Chen immediately pointed at the clerk and said, "Apologize. Apologize to me right now." Xiao Rouge heard Ye Chen arguing with someone outside in the fitting room, so she hurriedly ran out of the fitting room and hugged Ye Chen's arm. Ye Chen felt something soft coming over him, and when he turned around, he saw Xiao Rouge running out wearing a bra. "This figure is so hot." Ye Chen was stunned by what he saw. Xiao Rouge was embarrassed for a moment. She was in such a hurry that she forgot to put on her clothes and came out wearing a bra. Fortunately, there were no extra men at this time. Xiao Rouge covered her face, turned around and ran back inside to put on her clothes, then quickly came out and asked, "What happened?" Ye Chen told Xiao Rouge what had just happened. After listening to this, Xiao Rouge said to Ye Chen, "I like raising him, what's wrong?" The clerk covered his mouth and laughed, "See, even your girlfriend admitted it, why are you still pretending? Is it so difficult to admit that you are a gigolo? You must have served her well, didn't you? You used your mouth." Xiao Rouge blushed instantly. "When I think of that scene, it's really..." Ye Chen's voice was cold, "I'll say it again, I apologize." The clerk curled his lips and looked at Ye Chen, "Let me apologize. That's easy. You just need to buy all the clothes your girlfriend tries on and the payment is successful. I will let you do whatever you want, otherwise, you can say 3 times that you are a gigolo." The clerk with raised eyes looked as if he had made up his mind about Ye Chen. Ye Chen slammed the table. Manager, come here. Coming. A woman in her 30s wearing a small suit hurried over. Ye Chen looked at the manager and said, I want to buy all the clothes in this store. Buy them all. The manager was shocked. The clerk was stunned. The onlookers were stunned. Everyone was stunned. Xiao Rouge secretly pulled Ye Chen's arm. Come here for a moment. Ye Chen followed him to a secluded place. Xiao Rouge took out a card and handed it to Ye Chen. Here, there's 30 million on this card, enough to buy any clothes in the store. Ye Chen said, I have money, I will do it myself. Click. Flashlights flash. When Xiao Rouge turned around, she saw the slanted-eyed clerk who had made things difficult for Ye Chen holding up his cell phone to record everything that had just happened between them. Xiao Rouge gritted her teeth. This female clerk is so abominable. I will definitely punish her severely later. However, Xiao Rouge was still a little worried. Could Ye Chen really pay that money? The manager blushed with excitement. Sir, are you really determined to buy all the goods in the store? I just checked on the computer, the total amount is 18 million. Ye Chen took out a card from his pocket and slapped it on the table. The clerk took the card and looked at it. The card is black with a gold dragon on it and the Arabic numeral 2 printed on it. The female clerk curled her lips and said, Wow! What kind of card is this? I've never seen this kind of card before. Is this a smuggled copy you asked a fake certificate maker to make? There can't be any money here. Don't try to fool me. The manager and a group of store clerks looked at the card, but no one recognized it. The manager looked at Ye Chen and said, Excuse me, sir, can you change the card? Just then, a middle-aged fat man came with his wife to buy underwear. When he saw the card, his pupils shrank. Oh, my God. Oh my God. The manager saw the fat man and hurried over. President Zhu. Welcome you and your wife. The person coming is the president of Yuncheng Bank. The god of wealth of Yuncheng. The manager asked, President Zhu, what did you just say? Governor Zhu said with horror. This card is the Supreme Dragon card. Supreme Dragon card. Everyone was stunned after hearing this. The manager trembled and said, President Zhu, what is the Supreme Dragon card? What's the use of it? Governor Zhu wiped the cold sweat from his forehead. Supreme Dragon card, there are only 10 in the world. The minimum deposit amount is $1 trillion US. Many small country leaders around the world can't even have this. Because it is a symbol of identity and status. It has a 2 engraved on it, which means it's the second one. After Governor Zhu finished speaking, the scene fell into dead silence. Chapter 21 Black Tiger Debt Collection. The manager's eyelids twitched after hearing this. Sky. Ye Chen actually holds the second Supreme Dragon card. So rich. Xiao Rouge's expression also changed. She didn't expect that Ye Chen was not only rich, but also had such a terrifying background. Later, I must ask Ye Chen what is going on. Ye Chen looked at the manager and said calmly, Do you still need me to change the card? No need. The manager took the dragon card with trembling hands and swiped it to pay successfully. When a group of female shop assistants saw this, they handed Ye Chen their business cards and their contact information. There are also bold ones who unbutton their collars twice, hoping to attract the attention of Ye Chen, the mysterious boss. $1 trillion. Oh my God. Richer than the kings of many countries. As long as you hold on to someone powerful, you will be successful. Ye Chen simply ignored the looks of these vulgar fans. Ye Chen's eyes are very high, and not every woman can catch his eye. Ye Chen turned his head and looked at the female clerk with drooping eyes and asked. You just said that as long as I can buy the clothes that Miss Xiao just tried on, then you will listen to me. Now I buy all the clothes in the store. What else do you have to say? The clerk with raised eyes secretly slipped a note to Ye Chen and then winked at him. Ye Chen took out the note and read it loudly in front of everyone. I am willing to be your slave girl. I can do anything, kneel on the toilet, eat gold, drink holy water, lick your feet, anything. After Ye Chen finished reading, everyone sneered at the female clerk with infinite contempt. Xiao Rouge said with disgust, It's so disgusting. There is simply no bottom line. No wonder she said that. So she is just that kind of person. That's not surprising. Dai Yanxiao originally wanted to use her own secret book to get close to Ye Chen, and this trick had always worked. But he just happened to fail here with Ye Chen. Ye Chen actually read it out loud in public. It's like throwing your face into space. Because he had been hanging around in the store all the time, always looking arrogant and generous, making all the shop assistants look envious. And now Ye Chen has exposed her true colors, making it impossible for her to gain a foothold. The manager frowned and looked at the corner of his eye and said, "You are such a shameless slacker, you have no moral integrity. You are not qualified to be a clerk. Roll. Go away. How disgusting." The manager and the shop assistants chased him away like a fly. She will never be able to raise her head again in her life. The manager then asked Ye Chen carefully, "Sir, those clothes are packed, where to send them?" "They'll be delivered to your door for free." Ye Chen said calmly, "Well, Miss Xiao takes the pink one away, and send the rest to Genting number 1. Ye Chen had long wanted to buy some clothes for Su Rushue. He observed that Su Rushue liked red and Xiao Rouge liked pink, a perfect match. Genting 1. The waiter and manager were stunned again. That is the landmark building of Yuncheng. That's where the rich and powerful live. If the shop assistants felt it was unreal when they saw the Supreme Dragon card just now, then now it is extremely concrete. Genting number 1 is in line with the identity of an invisible boss. After Xiao Rouge and Ye Chen came out, they were also completely shocked. You live in Genting 1. Ye Chen smiled and nodded. "Yeah? Is it not possible?" "Of course." Xiao Rouge blushed and shook her head quickly. "I was shocked to find out we were neighbors." Ye Chen smiled and said, "You live in number 5, I live in number 1, we are natural neighbors. You know all this." Xiao Rouge showed a sweet dimple on her face. "Is this the legendary fate? It's amazing." Xiao Rouge's mind moved slightly and her chest began to tremble. "I feel that the man in front of me has infinite charm. His medical skills are superb and his strength is explosively powerful. He still has more money than he can spend. Who is he?" When Xiao Rouge walked out of the clothing store holding Ye Chen's arm, she couldn't help but ask this question. Ye Chen smiled and said, "I am Ye Chen. Didn't I tell you a long time ago?" Xiao Rouge stopped asking and said, "I'm going to have my fan meeting in a week, you must attend it." Ye Chen was about to answer when he saw Jiang David running over with blood all over his face. "Mr. Yi, something bad has happened. Something has happened to Mr. Su." Ye Chen's face instantly turned as cold as iron. "Who is it? Who is it?" Jiang David wiped the blood off his face and said, "It's Hailun's younger brother Heihu. Mr. Yi asked me to protect Miss Su, so I took the Jiang family's nephews to protect her. As a result, I met Black Dragon's brother Black Tiger who brought his thugs to ask Mr. Su for debt collection. He said that Qian Yali owed Black Dragon 100 million in gambling debts. I reasoned with Heihu and said I wanted to pay it back. Heihu said it was okay, and he would give me 100 billion in cash. Isn't this forcing people? Although the Jiang family is a first-class family in Yuncheng, where can they get 100 billion in cash? The bank can't take out so much money in such a short time. I was about to call the police, but was beaten by Black Tiger's men. Hurry and tell Mr. Yi. Go quickly, Mr. Su might be trapped in a house by Black Tiger." Ye Chen's eyes were cold and he clenched his fists. "Black Dragon Society. You dare to touch my wife? You are seeking death." Xiao Rouge covered her chest and finally understood the whole story. Xiao Rouge had never seen Ye Chen so angry. It feels like the sky is falling. That woman means so much to Ye Chen's heart. This hurt Xiao Rouge's heart. Ye Chen turned around and ran without even looking back. "Come back!" Xiao Rouge shouted anxiously from behind. Ye Chen stopped and did not look back, but just said, "Excuse me, I have to rush over." Xiao Rouge threw a car key directly to Ye Chen and said, "Here are the keys to my Ferrari, drive my car." Ye Chen took the pink car key and looked down. He raised his head again, and an inexplicable emotion towards Xiao Rouge appeared in his eyes. Xiao Rouge is really a very kind girl. Ye Chen is not a fool. He has already read from Xiao Rouge's various behaviors that Xiao Rouge has fallen in love with him. However, when it came to Su Rushue's life and death, Xiao Rouge gave her fastest sports car to Ye Chen to drive to save Su Rushue. This kind of mind has already brought about changes in Ye Chen's heart. "Thank you. I will definitely attend your fan meeting." Ye Chen took the car keys and dived into the Ferrari sports car. Da. The Ferrari sped away. "Go straight to Rushue Company. Along the way, Ye Chen stared at the front. Black Dragon Society, you'd better pray that my woman is okay. Otherwise, I will completely wipe out the entire Black Dragon Society's entire ancestry. If you touch my woman, I will make you experience what it means to be unable to live or die. The car was speeding all the way, and it was smoking. Meanwhile, in the president's office of Rushua Group, He Hu, with a group of his men, occupied the main seat in the office. He Hu looked at the incredibly beautiful Su Rushua and said, "You are Su Rushua? Qian Yali's only daughter." Secretary Xiaoye was so scared that her face turned pale. These evil people are so terrible. These two women are like lambs to be slaughtered. Yes, I am Su Rushua. Su Rushua was still calm, but her face turned pale. He Hu said, "Qian Yali owes a gambling debt of 100 million yuan, did you know that?" Su Rushua said, "It will expire the day after tomorrow. By then, I will replace the principal and interest." Bang! Black Tiger slammed the table fiercely. "It's due today." Su Rushua took out the IOU and said, "This is the bet my mother Qian Yali signed with you. It's written in black and white. It's due the day after tomorrow." Black Tiger roared, "When I say it's due, it's due. Don't talk to me about the law, talk about reason. What I say is the law and the truth. You now need to repay the principal of 100 million, plus interest of 900 million. A total of 1 billion. If you can't pay it back with your own body." Chapter 22 Wife, Here I Come. The black tiger's true form was revealed, and its eyes greedily stared at Su Rushua's delicate body. That look seemed to want to pull the clothes off Su Rushua. Brush. Su Rushua suddenly grabbed a paper cutter from the table and held it under her neck. "If you dare to come over here again, I will die in front of you." "Oh. That's quite amazing, little pepper. I like this kind of little pepper, so flavorful." Black Tiger laughed. Suddenly, He Hu waved his hand and said, "Go ahead. Pin Xiao Yu down and beat her up." Yes. A group of men in black rushed forward, pinned Xiao Yu down, and kicked and beat her. Xiao Yu was beaten to the point of rolling on the ground, her face bruised and swollen, and she screamed in pain. "Don't hit her." Su Rushua's voice trembled. "This matter has nothing to do with Xiao Yu." He Hu turned and looked at Su Rushua. "If you want my men to stop, then you have to agree to my request. Sleep with me, ahaha." How happy He Hu felt when he thought about having such a goddess from Yuncheng riding on him. But Su Rushua is also hot enough. Only in this way can she be forced to submit. Su Rushua's face was pale and her fingernails were bleeding. Seeing that Su Rushua was still silent, He Hu waved his hand. "Someone, come here. Take off Xiao Yu's clothes and give them to you." Xiao Yu was so scared that she held her head and kowtowed to beg for mercy. "No, I don't know anything." A group of big men in black laughed and said, "It's better not to know. Next, you will know everything." "No." Su Rushua's eyes were firm. "Let Xiao Yu go." He Hu looked at Su Rushua, "So you agree to my request?" Just as Su Rushua was about to nod, she heard a roar. "Stop." Immediately afterwards, the door of Rushua's office was slammed open. A figure leaped out of the Ferrari. The figure drew a perfect arc in the air and picked up Su Rushua. Then, flip in the air, flip. Su Rushua's eyes widened. When she saw clearly that it was Ye Chen, she threw herself tightly into his arms. "You're here at last." Ye Chen said in a low voice, "Wife, I'm late, are you okay?" Su Rushua shook her head, then nodded. "Everything is fine. If you come a little later, I will." Su Rushua couldn't continue speaking, and Ye Chen also understood Su Rushua's underlying subtext. His eyes were filled with lust as he landed on the ground holding Su Rushua. "Nest." Black Tiger saw clearly that it was Ye Chen and said with disdain, "Who did I think it was? Turns out it was you, you little brat. Why don't you hide anymore? Why don't you continue hiding?" Previously, Ye Chen had told He Long that he lived in Genting No. 1 Villa and asked He Long to go find him. As a result, Black Dragon thought that Ye Chen was lying and bragging, and was not worthy of living in Genting No. 1. So they didn't go looking for him, but instead thought that Ye Chen deliberately gave a false address because he was afraid of the Black Dragon Society. Xiao Yu hurriedly hid behind Ye Chen, trembling all over. Ye Chen said, "Xiao Yu, don't be afraid. I'll take care of everything. In my eyes, these people are just scum, not even as good as ants." Black Tiger pointed at Ye Chen and said, "You little brat. You came just in time. I will play with your woman right in front of you and make you watch with your eyes open." Ye Chen looked at Heihu and said, "Based on what you said, you deserve to die 10 times. Heihu laughed loudly, "You little bastard, you are the best at talking nonsense. Come on, come on. Break his limbs and take him back to the Black Dragon headquarters. Leave the woman to me." 20 thugs armed with weapons shouted and rushed towards Ye Chen. Xiaoye was so scared that she closed her eyes, but Su Rushue was much calmer. Because Su Rushue has seen Ye Chen's abilities. Ye Chen once wiped out the former Su family and the Zhao family within half an hour. Compared with the Zhao family, the people brought by Heihu are still a little inferior. So, Su Rushue was not worried. Thumping. Ye Chen slapped Su Rushue's desk. A box of toothpicks on the desk flew out with a swipe. Immediately afterwards, I heard puff, puff, puff. All 20 of Heihu's men lay on the ground, deader than dead. These people didn't even know how they died before they died. I didn't see how Ye Chen made his move. Quick. Too fast. It's just like a ghost. When Heihu saw this, he couldn't help but frown and his pupils shrank. He knew that Ye Chen had some skills, but he didn't expect Ye Chen to be so powerful. These 20 men didn't even touch the corner of Ye Chen's clothes. They all died at the same time. What a terrifying fighting power. When Xiaoye saw Ye Chen kill the thugs brought by Black Tiger, her eyes lit up. I think Ye Chen is so handsome. It's such a blessing to be Ye Chen's woman. Even just for one night. However, Xiaoye knew that with her status, she was only worthy of thinking about it. Ye Chen walked towards the Black Tiger step by step, his eyes were cold, and the air was filled with endless murderous intent. Black Tiger retreated step by step, his legs trembling. But when Heihu thought that the Black Dragon Society was behind him, he straightened his back and said, "Don't come over here. I'm Black Dragon's brother. If you dare to touch me, my brother Black Dragon will never let you go and will annihilate all your clans. When that time comes, you will die miserably. Your woman will also be tortured miserably." Ye Chen nodded, "Indeed, your words reminded me." When Heihu heard Ye Chen say this, he immediately became arrogant. "So, kneel down now and kowtow to me and confess your guilt. Besides, take off all your woman's clothes and give them to me. I can say a good word to my big brother and let him spare your life." Ye Chen's eyes were sharp. "Your words reminded me that if I let you die directly, it would be too easy for you." Ye Chen grabbed Heihu's hair and lifted him up like a chicken. Black Tiger was so frightened that his heart and soul trembled. "My brother is Black Dragon. You dare to move? Garba, Garba." A sound of bones breaking came in the air. It's creepy to hear. The Black Tiger's bones were pinched into 1-inch long pieces. It hurts so much. This is not over yet. Then, Ye Chen stepped on Heihu's crotch. "Squeeze it hard." Our Black Tiger howled like a pig being slaughtered. All 4 limbs were broken. It hurts. The boundless pain almost made Heihu faint. But how could Ye Chen make Black Tiger faint? A slap on Black Tiger's face. Heihu was in so much pain, but he just wouldn't faint. This is called living in agony. The hotel manager came running over tremblingly. "Brother, no, sir." Ye Chen said in a cold voice, "Go, send Black Tiger to the Black Dragon Society headquarters. Tell Black Tiger that at 10 o'clock tonight, have Black Dragon bring everyone to the Rushua group to kneel for 3 days and 3 nights. Otherwise, I will crush the Black Dragon Society." Chapter 23 Black Dragon, Here I Come. The manager was trembling with fear, and took his men to carry Black Tiger directly to the Black Dragon Society headquarters to deliver the letter. What? Black Dragon was furious when he saw his brother being abolished and turned into a eunuch. "You little bastard. I will never forgive you. I will chop you into minced meat, wrap you into pies and feed them to the dogs." The Black Dragon is really angry. Previously, Ye Chen had smashed his son Du Qingdi's head, and the account has not yet been settled. Now Ye Chen has crippled his younger brother and turned him into a eunuch. This is simply a great humiliation to him, Black Dragon. Black Dragon ordered his men to take Black Tiger away to heal his wounds. He entered the secret room and made a phone call. "Master Juhua, please deal with Ye Chen at the same price as before, 10 million yuan, not a penny less." An old voice came from the phone. $10 million. Deal. Hai Longdao nodded and agreed. Granny Chrysanthemum ranks 10th in the Great Shire Kingdom. possessing the strength of the peak of Hua Jin. Killing Ye Chen is as easy as pie. Although Granny Juhua asked for a huge sum of 10 million, she thought that after killing Ye Chen, she could take back Rushua Group and make the money back. Definitely worth it. With Granny Chrysanthemum in charge, Black Dragon's mouth showed murderous intent. Ye Chen, where are you going to run this time? Even if there are 10 of you, you can't be a match for Granny Chrysanthemum. Granny Chrysanthemum rushed to the Black Dragon Society headquarters overnight to take charge. Black Dragon personally stood up to greet him and showed Granny Juhua the information he knew about Ye Chen. After reading it, Granny Chrysanthemum threw the information on the ground. I thought he was some expert. Turns out he's just a brat. Are you kidding me? Black Dragon said hurriedly, Grandma Juhua, this Ye Chen is quite capable. He smashed my son's head with one palm and crippled my brother. And forget it. Granny Chrysanthemum slammed her cane to the ground. Since I'm here, I'll just help you destroy it. I don't care about anything else. The Black Dragon will wave its arms. Ye Chen, tonight is the day you die. At the same time, Su Rushua asked someone to clean the president's office and mop the floor. Everything went on in an orderly manner. Su Rushua had experienced this once, so she was very calm. After everything was finished, Ye Chen asked, how did the Black Tiger find you? Logically, you wouldn't provoke the Black Dragon Society, right? Su Rushua said, isn't it because of the gambling debts owed by my mother Chen Yali? I promised to pay back the gambling debts. I also promised to pay interest. According to the highest interest rate, I will pay 10 million. But Black Tiger Lion asked for a huge amount, 100 million yuan in principal and 900 million yuan in interest. It's just a big mouth. Ye Chen said, Chen Yali shouldn't owe the Black Dragon Society money. Can she borrow any money? He is cheating his father, Chen Yali is cheating his daughter, cheating her to death. Su Rushua leaned her head on Ye Chen. I really can't imagine what would happen to me without you. Without Ye Chen, she would be someone else's big toy. It will be ruined. Su Rushua's nose suddenly twitched. By the way, where have you been these days? You smell like perfume. Paris number 5. Women's. Tell me, have you been looking for a woman behind my back? Ye Chen said hurriedly, no, Hey, I'm a doctor, I'm treating an old woman. Su Rushua's nose twitched. No, there is another hair here, 400 millimeters long, wine red, from a woman, she should be no older than 25. Ye Chen was embarrassed. Su Rushua is so thoughtful. This can all be discovered. It was also because I was too careless. When I was treating Xia Rouge, her beautiful hair fell on me and I forgot to take it off, and ended up getting caught by Su Rushua. Ye Chen thought to himself, how did Master deal with these women? And everything is fine. I had just started when Su Rushua discovered me. Ye Chen said, I was afraid that you would think too much, so I said she was an old woman. Her name is Xia Rouge, she is 22 years old this year, and she has a terminal illness. I treated her. You were saved this time because of Ferrari. It was Xia Rouge who gave me the Ferrari so that I could come to rescue you in such a short time. Look, all the Ferraris are scrapped. Su Rushua read it and said, I hate people who tell lies the most. As long as you explain clearly, I will stop making trouble for no reason. By the way, the Xia Rouge you mentioned, is she the Jade Queen? Ye Chen said, yes, it is her. Ye Chen hurriedly said, wife, I love you the most, other women are nothing but clouds. Okay, wife, you are too tired, your husband will give you a massage. Ye Chen picked up Su Rushua, slammed the door shut, and then used all his skills to massage Su Rushua. An extreme feeling of comfort spread throughout Su Rushua's delicate body, making her almost scream out. Ye Chen's technique is simply amazing. So refreshing. The tension and fatigue of the past few days were all released by Ye Chen's massage. Ye Chen said, wife, in a few days, when you are done with your work, I will give you a big surprise. Su Rushua's eyes smiled into crescents. Great, I'm also planning on giving you a surprise now that I'm done with my work. Both of them were looking forward to the other's surprise. Soon, Su Rushua fell asleep. Ye Chen closed the door and walked out. Ye Chen called Jiang David and asked him to bring people to protect Su Rushua. Although Ye Chen knew that the Jiang family was not worthy of being reused, this was the only way for now. In the future, Ye Chen plans to find a better bodyguard for Su Rushua to protect her. Now, Ye Chen is going to the Black Dragon Society to settle the accounts. Black Dragon Society headquarters. Come on, Lord Juhua, drink, drink. Black Dragon raised his glass, and everyone drank and celebrated with a smile on their faces. Because, tonight, Ye Chen will be beaten to death. Avenge the previous shame. Black Dragon has already called all the masters here, and with Grandma Juhua in charge, if Ye Chen comes, he will be seeking his death. Report, report. A boy in black ran in panic. Because of my haste, one of my shoes fell off. Black Dragon pressed the table, frowned, and scolded. What are you panicking about? It's useless. The boy in black knelt on the ground and said, Here he comes. Ye Chen is here. Black Dragon put his hands behind his back and shouted, What are you afraid of? We have prepared 100 thugs, 10 great masters, and Lord Chrysanthemum. How many people did Ye Chen bring? The man reported, There are 2 people. Ye Chen is carrying a blanket. There is a person wrapped in the blanket, with one leg exposed. After hearing this, Hei Long laughed and said, Ye Chen must have been scared to death, so he cleaned up his wife Surushue and sent her to my bed, begging me to spare his life. All the members of the Black Dragon Society also said, It must be like this. Ye Chen is afraid of the Black Dragon Society, so it was a wise move for him to send his wife here. Otherwise, he will be in a very miserable situation today. Granny Chrysanthemum pouted and slammed her cane on the ground. A worthless thing actually asked me to help. It's like using an anti-aircraft gun to kill a mosquito. Ha 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 ha! Everyone in the Black Dragon Society was laughing so hard that they were bent over. Gulp. Just as everyone was laughing, suddenly everything went dark before their eyes. A dark shadow appeared in the middle of the venue. Everyone rubbed their eyes, and then they could see clearly that it was Ye Chen who walked in carrying a roll of blanket. Ye Chen put the blanket on the ground and stood there with his head down. Seeing this, the Black Dragon pointed at Ye Chen. Hey! You little brat! Are you afraid of me now? It's too late. Someone! Open the blanket. I want to have sex with Surushue in front of everyone. Yes. Boss. 4 guys in black rolled up their sleeves and walked forward, unrolling the blanket layer by layer. When the last layer was opened, the 4 guys sat down on the ground. Oh my God! Everyone at the scene stretched their necks to look at the person on the blanket on the ground, and then their faces suddenly changed. Chapter 24, No matter how much garbage there is, it is still garbage. When the people from the Black Dragon Society saw the man on the carpet, they were instantly horrified. Because that person was not Lin Qingxue at all, but Hailong's father, old Hailong. At this time, the old Black Dragon was already dead. Everyone looked horrified. This means that Ye Chen killed Black Dragon's father right under his nose. And these people were completely unaware and were still drinking and celebrating here. Before everyone could recover from the shock, a man in black ran in panic and reported. The report is bad, the second Master Black Tiger is dead. What? Second Master Heihu is dead too. Everyone was shocked again. There is no doubt that this was all done by Ye Chen. Whether it is Black Tiger or Old Man Hei, they are all in the most secretive and safest place of the Black Dragon Society. But now they were all killed by Ye Chen, and they didn't even know it. This means that Ye Chen entered the Black Dragon Society and was like a free man in the headquarters. Black Dragon said coldly, Humph. Black Tiger's bones and muscles are all broken, and he has become a eunuch. It is normal for him to die. The old man is old, and it happened in the past 2 days. There's nothing strange about it. Don't panic. Don't be fooled. Everyone burst into laughter again, looking at Ye Chen as if he were an idiot. Everyone saw that Ye Chen was only in his 20s this year, had no fame or influence in Yuncheng, and was no different from an ordinary person. So these people don't take Ye Chen seriously. Only Grandma Chrysanthemum was secretly surprised. Granny Chrysanthemum is a martial arts master, so she can naturally see that Ye Chen is no ordinary person. Apart from anything else, the Black Dragon Society has already mobilized its top 10 masters tonight, as well as 100 high-level thugs. The fact that Ye Chen was able to appear in front of everyone without anyone noticing shows that Ye Chen's strength is extraordinary. The Black Dragon pouted and pointed at Ye Chen. You little bastard. You're so brave. You actually killed my son, and scared my brother and my father to death. Today, I'll make you experience what it means to live a life worse than death. Ye Chen glanced around and noticed that the Black Dragon Society was fully prepared today. The 10 evil men under the Black Dragon. There are still hundreds of thugs. There was also an old woman sitting on it. Ye Chen said calmly, just a bunch of trash. The Black Dragon shouted angrily, you little bastard. I think you are really ignorant. I have 100 thugs. I have 10 evil men. I also have Grandma Chrysanthemum, who is ranked in the top 10 warriors of the Great Xia Kingdom. When Hailong talked about Grandma Juhua, he deliberately emphasized his tone. Because, as long as you are warrior, you should know what it means to be ranked in the top 10. It means a group of people with top combat power in the pyramid of Darxia Kingdom. Ye Chen said calmly, no matter how much garbage there is, it is still garbage. Black Dragon shouted angrily, how dare you say that Grandma Chrysanthemum, who ranks in the top 10 of Darxia country, is trash? You're done. Black Dragon pointed his finger and said, go ahead. Kill this arrogant boy. Whoosh. 100 black-clad thugs surrounded Ye Chen like a pack of vicious wolves. Brush. Ye Chen's sleeves moved slightly. Hundreds of thugs fell to the ground in an instant, bleeding from all 7 orifices. I can't die anymore. And all this happened in just a moment. Ye Chen stood with his hands behind his back, a group of ants, so stinky. The 10 evil men couldn't help but turn pale when they saw this. They were standing behind the man in black and didn't see Ye Chen take action at all. Just die like that. 100 people died at once. A large number of people died. Is this too fast? It simply doesn't conform to scientific logic. Go again. Black Dragon jumped up and down. Ye Chen. If you have the ability, don't use poison. What kind of ability is using poison? Black Dragon thought that these people suddenly fell to the ground and died with blood coming out of all their orifices. It must be because Ye Chen had poisoned them. Only Grandma Chrysanthemum frowned even more tightly. She had already seen that the 100 thugs had been injured in their internal organs by a powerful internal force and fell to the ground and died. He didn't die of poisoning at all. Ye Chen said calmly, use poison? You are just a bunch of small fry, are you worth me using poison on? You overestimate yourself. It's not poison. If it's not poison, why would blood come out of all 7 orifices? Black Dragon shouted with bloodshot eyes. The 10 evil men walked forward, used a knife to pry open the clothes of a man in black, and said in surprise, oh my god. All these men in black were shattered into pieces. Only the outermost layer of skin is left. Click, click, click. The 10 evil men then stripped off the clothes of dozens of men in black. The result is the same, the internal organs and bones have turned into minced meat. The blood is red. There is no sign of poisoning. The Black Dragon was also surprised. He thought Ye Chen knew martial arts, but he didn't expect Ye Chen to be so powerful. He didn't even move a muscle, and his 100 thugs were beaten into minced meat. There is only a layer of skin left on the outside. Black Dragon glanced at Granny Chrysanthemum and straightened his back again. So what? You are just a clown in front of Granny Chrysanthemum after all. Granny Chrysanthemum can kill you with just one finger. Granny Chrysanthemum grumbled and cursed in her heart. Damn it. This is just like putting me on fire. She already understood that she was no match for Ye Chen. She came here to make money, not to die. The Black Dragon pointed at Ye Chen. 10 evil people. Today is your chance. Don't worry, go ahead. Granny Chrysanthemum is here to protect you. Originally, the 10 evil men were already frightened out of their wits. Ye Chen's powerful strength has exceeded their imagination. And it's not scientific. However, they have a firm belief in their hearts. That is because Ye Chen is an unknown person after all, while Granny Chrysanthemum is on the list of top 10 masters. That means Granny Chrysanthemum must be more powerful than Ye Chen. And Grandma Juhua will not just watch them fail. Based on this logic, the 10 evil men bravely rushed towards Ye Chen with all their might. Go to hell. Ye Chen stood still, squinting his eyes and looking at the 10 evil men. Court death. Black Dragon said proudly with his hands behind his back. Ye Chen is frightened. Kill him. Click, click, click. The 10 evil men were secretly delighted. It seems that Ye Chen is also afraid of Granny Chrysanthemum. So scared. It's the time to make achievements and win awards, go. The 10 evil men swung their swords at the same time and aimed at Ye Chen's vital parts. Rolling. The 10 evil men stood still, still swinging their swords. but the head has been chopped off. 1 second later, the 10 evil men fell to the ground. The 10 evil men never understood why Granny Chrysanthemum didn't take action. Where is the promised trump card? Ye Chen looked at the 10 evil men indifferently. It's boring, too embarrassing, and I don't have the strength to fight at all. The black dragon took 2 steps back. He didn't expect that the 10 evil men didn't hurt Ye Chen at all, but were beheaded by Ye Chen at the same time. I still don't see how he did it. Black Dragon's gaze slowly turned to Grandma Juhua. Please ask Granny Chrysanthemum to kill Ye Chen, and the reward will be doubled. Chapter 25 Grandma Chrysanthemum, I want to be your dog. Although Ye Chen killed hundreds of black-clad thugs in a row, he chopped off the heads of the 10 evil men, but the Black Dragon still refused to admit defeat. He also has the trump card of Grandma Chrysanthemum. Black Dragon directly offered double the reward and asked Grandma Juhua to kill Ye Chen. Hai Lung did the math in his mind, although $20 million was enough to make him feel painful. But if he kills Ye Chen, he can then take over the Rushua group to replenish himself, which is still very cost-effective, provided that he must kill Ye Chen. So Black Dragon looked at Ye Chen proudly and said, "The 100 men in black who died just now were just ordinary warriors who had just advanced. And the 10 evil men are all Xian realm warriors. Do you know what Granny Chrysanthemum's strength is? I'll scare you to death if I tell you this. Granny Chrysanthemum is at the peak of the profound realm. She's only half a step away from becoming a Xianqian Grandmaster. Do you know what it means to be a congenital master?